Good day, my plant foldies. This is Richie at Grow Folds, and today we'll be going to PlantCon 2024 in Dallas. This is day one footage. As always, please make sure you are hitting the like button and also subscribing to my channel with the notification bell on. If you want, you can also follow me on Instagram at Grow Folds to directly connect with you. But today is an exciting day, and the reason why is because I have been waiting for PlantCon for quite a while, and you can see that we have some people already in line. I happen to pay for the early access footage right over here, and so you can see that we have some people. Right at the very front though is our very own plant foldy Trish, and I was super excited because she was literally the very first person to go into PlantCon. Super excited about that. So we're doing the wave over here. Now what you'll see at this video is there's going to be several vendors that I will be featuring, so we're going to see what they have over at this location and just talk about all of the plants. So definitely stay tuned for that. You can see we're still in line, but I hope that you will watch through the whole video. Luke, what's happening?
PlantCon.
Are we about to make it in here?
Any minute.
All right. Let me see the t-shirt. I did also want to say thank you so much to the PlantCon media, especially to Ava. It was awesome to meet you. Thank you so much for the free early access tickets. I definitely will have a lot of footage for all of our PlantCon lovers. So if you haven't already, please make sure you are subscribed to my channel, because I will have several hours of PlantCon for you on my YouTube channel. But we've already entered here, so we're just going to be walking and waiting our turn to get in line. So Luke, did we just make it into PlantCon?
Almost. We're almost there.
So what do you want to tell the plant foldies?
Keep watching. We're going to have some good content today.
Awesome. And what are you wearing right over here? Tell me about this t-shirt.
This is the Grow Folds official t-shirt. You know, if you're interested in this, inquire with Richie. He can hook you up. But got the QR code, goes to YouTube.
Awesome.
Pretty cool.
I am just so excited, and so as me and Luke were waiting in line, we just got all of our credentials to get into PlantCon. I am super excited because PlantCon was super organized. I do recommend for those that want to avoid the crowds to pay the little extra money for the early access tickets. I was able to get in at 8 a.m. so I was able to freely film, freely shop for some of these rare plants 2 hours ahead of the general admission, because as soon as 10 a.m. hit, I tell you what, plant foldies. And for those that are new to my channel, I call my viewers and subscribers plant foldies. It was just mad chaos because everybody was so excited to get to the plants. But as you guys can see over here, plant foldies, I'm going to pan over and show you what this looks like. So this is what it looks like to be at a plant convention. I happened to go to the Houston plant convention. The PlantCon was earlier this year. I'm so glad that they ended up getting a Dallas plant convention. I will say that even day two was quite busy for Houston as compared to Houston's PlantCon. So the organizers of PlantCon, thank you so much for having that available. And for those that are watching and are excited to see the plants, you do not want to miss what plants we'll see. I will try to get in detail all of the plants as much as possible. This will be many parts to the video. So you can see the very first vendor I'm going to go to is Plants by Tukta. She is a local plant vendor out in Mansfield, Texas. You can see that they've got several Burley Marks flames right over here in Pond. So she's got several of those available. And that was literally just as you walked into the actual PlantCon, and you can see there are a lot of assorted variegated alocasia, super amazing. And the thing with Plants by Tukta is such a kind person. I was so happy to have met her, and so I'm just going to have her introduce herself to all of our plant foldies right over here. I love it. Thank you. I'm just filming this for my YouTube channel, so it's at Grow Folds, but I'm gonna definitely go through here and do that.
Please, if you put in your YouTube channel.
Yes, I'm gonna definitely do that. My name is Richie. So if y'all mind, y'all want to introduce yourselves to the channel?
Hi, I'm Angela. I'm here helping Tukta with Plants by Tukta. Yes.
All right, awesome. Y'all shop Tukta's plants right here. Awesome. Kapuka. What I love about Plants by Tukta is she has some amazing rare plants. Like look at this stunning variegated Belitier. We're going to walk over here and we're going to take a look at this stunning philodendron caramel marble. So you already know plant foldies. I've been looking for this serrated variegated philodendron. Unfortunately, it is out of my price range for now. And then you can see she's got several starters of Burley Marks Flame. And I will say that this is one of the plants that everybody was looking for at PlantCon, as well as some more younger, smaller versions of variegated Belitier and that stunning philodendron variegated silver sword. So you can see right off the bat, plant foldies, they've got some plants here with some amazing variegation, and then she's got a bunch of assorted variegated alocasia. This was the alocasia black pink velvet, beautiful plant. It's one of my wish list plants, but it's still out of my range. And what I like about Plants of Tukta is this is a local grower out in Mansfield, Texas. So it's just further down Dallas. And what I like about it is she is easily accessible. So Tukta actually has a Facebook group, so you can get in touch with her. They do live selling as well. And you can see right here, gorgeous Monstera mint. So this Monstera mint, I believe, was for about $500. It is a really nice looking Monstera mint. And you can see right here, Plants by Tukta. So if you want to go ahead and pause this video and scan the QR code so you can get to her her Facebook group, you can definitely do that. But as you can see here, this is one of my wish list Monstera, these variegated Monsteras. You know, this is definitely going to be a different video from my typical big box or plant shopping video. You're going to see a lot of rare and uncommon plants that are going to be a little bit higher in price range, but at the same time, you know, these are plants that eventually will come down in price. I do believe that, but for now, we can enjoy just looking at these plants. Like I was really tempted to purchase that Monstera mint, but I already had a certain budget for PlantCon, and it was really hard to stay within that budget. The whole theme was you only live once, make that plant happy, take the plant home, but you know, you can only do that until you look at your credit card and see that you've spent quite a bit of money. But as you can see right here, we had a bunch of variegated alocasia, and look at these beautiful looking variegated begonia. All of these plants are propagated by Tukta. Like I said, she has some really healthy looking plants, and what I like about it is a lot of the Thai and Indonesian vendors have a lot of access to some of these more rare and uncommon plants. They're able to import them from Southeast Asia. And look at over here, look at that beautiful variegated alocasia Yucata princess. And then we're going to keep walking over here. So as you can see right now, there's not as many people. It's because I happened to get lucky to get some early access tickets. So you will see later on in some of my footage how crazy it gets. But I did a lot of my my filming the first 2 hours because I wanted to be able to, number one, get the plants on video, and number two, to be able to actually shop. I did a lot of my shopping earlier before the general public went there. But you can see over here, we do have several vendors. What I like about it is that they had quite a bit of space as well, so it wasn't super crowded. And while this is a plant convention, there were some areas of some vendors that were selling some more easy to care for plants that are a little bit within everybody's typical budget. Over here is Hive Plants. So hivesplants.com. I did want to shout them out because I did end up buying some plants from them. You can see that in my PlantCon 2024 plant haul. If you haven't watched that video, definitely check out the video after this PlantCon video. Again, you can see right over here, this is by DD's Plants, and you can see how massive this Monstera Thai constellation is. Beautiful variegation. That one was selling for $500, and she was hoping to sell that at PlantCon. That way she didn't have to haul it all the way back to California. So hopefully it did sell. And then over here we have another California seller. This is Plant Zaddy Therapy. I love this as well. Now this particular booth had quite a bit of rare, uncommon, and variegated plants. So for the aeroid lover, the aeroid addict, this is definitely going to be a booth we're going to take a look at in a little bit more detail. But as you guys can see, I want to walk around Plant Foldies and show you all of the vendors we have so far. You can see that Luke is talking to Ava, who happens to be the social media manager for the Instagram page of PlantCon. Thank you so much for always sharing my videos on the PlantCon Instagram stories. And who could not go to a PlantCon and not see Steve's leaves? So kudos to Steve's Leaves. It makes me proud to be out in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. That is where I'm based at. And Steve's Leaves is actually in Louisville, Texas. His nursery is a good 20 minutes away from where I am based at. And I'm hoping that one day I'll be able to actually tour the nursery and film these gorgeous plants. Steve's Leaves was a gold sponsor for this event. So thank you so much to Steve's Leaves. This nursery is amazing. I did end up buying some plants here, and you can see right off the bat they have so many full plants, and they were able to restock their plants for day 2. Steve's Leaves is one of the leading online plant shops that you can buy, as well as a local nursery. I mean, look at that beautiful Monstera Thai constellation. They had so many different varieties of Monstera albos, Monstera Thai constellations. I believe they had a Monstera Seriana. They had so many uncommon and common plants as well. So I'm going to walk into this little location here, and I did want to say hello to my friend Jordan, who happens to work at Steve's Leaves. It was so nice to finally meet you, and you will see a bunch of local plant foldies that I met. This one right here is a beautiful philodendron blizzard, and then we've got some more Monstera albos here. We've got some hanging baskets by Steve's Leaves of Tradescanthia burgundy. So all of these plants, at least these hanging plants, are ones that you would see at big box stores, but you can tell that this is definitely a plant convention. Right over here, we've got an Epipremnum panatum Cebu blue, and then we've got a Monstera Seriana on the very left, and I ended up purchasing this plant, this stainless steel plant, and it was a really good price. Guess how much it cost? $5 and I definitely wanted to get that. It has some really cool variegation, and again, plant foldies. I always encourage people to purchase plants that will bring you joy. It doesn't really matter whether it's a rare or uncommon plant. I will say more of the variegated plants tends to be more of what people's niche is, but at the same time, this one is just for $5, and I think it's such a cool plant. I love the color of the stems, and obviously the ghostly silver tone it has. And then we have over here some more plants, and I've got Jordan helping me choose some plants. It wasn't busy yet, but Steve's Leaves is known also for hybridization of begonias. Now this one is a very highly sought after variegated begonia galaxy. Now this one is for $200, so clearly this is such a beautiful angel wing begonia. Now as far as begonias, plant foldies, I tend to do better with angel wing begonias as compared to Rex begonias. There are so many different cultivars that come from Steve's Leaves, and again, it's one of those things where at a plant convention, you're able to see a lot of the best plants that a certain vendor can provide. And so I like the fact that Steve's Leaves has some rare plants, uber rare plants, but then we also have some common plants or easy to care for plants. This one right over here as well is only for $5. I debated on whether to get this. So this is basically similar to the purple passion plant, but instead of it being fully purple, the top of the leaf is green, and then the undersides are a little bit more of a lavender purple tone. Really like the look of that as well. And you know, there are some plants I will mention that I regret not purchasing at PlantCon. This is one of them, just because it's easy. It's also cost effective, and that's the thing, plant foldies. Whenever you go to a plant convention, I would always suggest that you do have a budget or a set budget. That way you don't go overboard, because I've seen quite a bit of people go way above their plant budget. I mean, basically, some people have spent more than their mortgage or their rent for that month to get some of these plants, but I don't blame them. I mean, look at this. We've got a Syngonium albo right here by Steve's Leaves again. And what's interesting is Costa Farms has recently released some Syngonium albos in hanging baskets. So we're going to see what that looks like once it gets to big box stores. And I don't know what this particular philodendron is. All I know is it's absolutely stunning. So I don't know if it is a philodendron black cardinal or if it's a philodendron red imperial. Beautiful plant. And the plants I was looking for at PlantCon would be a combination of some uncommon philodendron, definitely Syngoniums, and also Aglaonema. Like this one right here, I am looking for a Syngonium Orm Thong. So I ended up landing that beautiful Syngonium Orm Thong from Ivy Plants, which I will feature on another video. There are lots of vendors that I will feature, but this first video will only have certain plant vendors that I was able to get a hold of. But have no fear, especially if you are a plant vendor that sold at PlantCon. Don't worry if you do not see your actual booth, I did capture them. I captured the majority of vendors. This just happened to be the vendors that I ended up going to first. So like right over here, plant foldies, variegated syndapsis, jade, satin albo. This is another plant that I probably should have picked up. There was quite a bit of syndapsis actually. And for those that are tuning in and just finally finding my YouTube channel, welcome. My name is Richie. I do 1 hour plant shopping videos daily, and I also do local plant shopping videos. I will start to go to more plant conventions, so I do plan on traveling to the Texas Aeroid show out in Houston. I think it's in October 26. Thank you to the Texas Aeroid for reaching out to me directly and inviting me. You already know I will be out there filming as much plant content as I can, because I do feel like it's important for our plant community to be able to see a lot of these plants that maybe you would not be able to see at a big box store. It's just stunning, and I just can't believe that we have quite a bit of these rare and uncommon plants. Highly recommend shopping at Steve's Leaves. They have a website, they have weekly auctions, I believe, and they're able to even do local pickups. So if you live out in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, you can actually schedule a local pickup to where you don't have to pay for the shipping. But plant foldies, as you can see right here, I am going to be looking at a lot of the Steve's Leaves plants, and then I'll be going to the next vendor. I think it's going to be Wild Roots, so we'll take a look at that. But the syngoniums, I mean, what do you think about the syngoniums? So I do like the syngonium albo. The thing about syngonium albo is you do have to pay attention to the variegation. I would say on a safer bet, it's better to give it more bright indirect light. If you're able to actually water it with a silica solution, it will actually help the leaves from browning and crisping up. These are actually pretty good sizes, and I actually want to get a syngonium albo again. My syngonium albos are not as highly variegated, and sometimes it's just a very random syngonium as far as variegation. So if you start to see a albo start to revert back to green or start to push out more white leaves, you want to chop that node down so you can kind of reset the plant. But as you can see, plant foldies, we've got a bunch of anthuriums here, and my friend Jordan, who happens to be a plant foldie as well, actually takes care of the anthuriums. I have started to get into anthuriums, and here's the reason why. Sometimes people have the notion that anthuriums are actually quite a fussy plant, but the plant that I actually got my anthurium from GreenspacesID, it ended up actually being more of an easy care plant. Growing them in hydroponics or semi-hydroponics has actually made it easier. Now, I do understand that they're probably going to need more humidity, but I am super excited that I will start to get my plant room set up again. So again, for my new viewers that are just finding my videos, I hope you stick around to watch some of my future content. There are going to be more PlantCon videos to appear. This happens to be my first one. I ended up doing a PlantCon plant haul, so I hope you guys can check that out and really see some of the plants that I picked up. But as you can see right here, beautiful anthurium. And you know, Steve's Leaves, when it comes down to it, they have a lot of different types of plant families. They really specialize in so many different varieties of plants. So some people will say Steve's Leaves is really known for begonias, but honestly, they're known for pretty much everything. And their production of plants, like right over here is a ear sign Rose. I thought about my plant foldie viewer subscriber Rose. It was awesome to meet you on day one at PlantCon. I loved your red hair, and I hope that, you know, for all of the plant foldies that I met up with at PlantCon, thank you so much. I know I had a couple of families come up to me and ask to take a picture with me. Very humbling experience. It's just interesting that, you know, there's so many people that I did not realize watched my YouTube channel. And so for those that have continued to watch my channel, thank you so much. You hitting the like button, you leaving comments, and you watching all of my videos in its entirety have really propelled this channel. We are now at 10,300 subscribers, and that is just amazing. And that's due to the fact that you guys have engaged with me with my passion for plants. And as you can see right there, I did show you some trade Scanthia. I ended up purchasing that one as well for only $5. So I ended up getting 3 plants at Steve's Leaves, all for $5. You would think that I would go after more of the rare and uncommon plants, but Steve's Leaves has some really cost-effective plant pricing. You can see right here, beautiful philodendron billetiae. Maybe my philodendron billetiae will get that large someday. Such a beautiful plant. And you know, you think about all of these philodendron, like the philodendron billetiae, you know, rewind back 4 years ago, and that plant was several thousands of dollars. And now the plant pricing has gone down, at least for the typical philodendron billetiae. Now, Now, the variegated one is still quite high, but with the resurgence or the just basically tissue culture plants are becoming readily available, so it's easier for growers to mass produce these plants. I actually ended up getting a tissue culture plant, which you will see in a future video. I will talk about the journey of trying to acclimate it and everything, but that definitely means you have to stay tuned to watch all of my PlantCon videos. Now over here, plant foldies, you can see this is a beautiful Epipremnum pinnatum marble, and I love that as well. All of the Epipremnum pinnatums were readily available. Here we have a Syngonium pink splash right here for $20, and I already have this Syngonium. This one is a really nice one. Now they have a Thai version, which tends to be I feel like the Thai version is a little prettier than that one, but as far as Syngoniums, plant care tips for that bright indirect light: make sure you water them when the soil is about 50% dry to the top. Do not let them dry out for long periods of time because they will decline in health. And then over here we've got a Monstera letriana, beautiful plant as well. And so here's the thing about Monsteras. I love them because they are easy to care for. I haven't really met any Monsteras that were challenging for me. They're easy to propagate. They're pretty vigorous growers. And so Monsteras, as far as, plants that I like to grow in my collection, that would be one of them. But you can see right here, look at that stunning Monstera Thai constellation. And you can see right here, we've got some Monstera Peru. And then we also have another gorgeous Syndapsis right there. But these Monstera Perus are for $10. So what I also like about plant conventions like PlantCon 2024 in Dallas is, if you want to start a plant collection, you can buy starter plants because there's quite a bit of diversity with all of the starter plants that are readily available at PlantCon. So that's something I would also suggest, plant foldies. I think it's amazing to see that we have several of these plants. And as I pan away here, and you can see Luke is over there talking to Jordan of Steve's Leaves, there's just many plants. So the thing about it is, I will also show you day 2 footage. Day 1 footage is actually going to be divided into maybe 3 separate videos, more than an hour long. So you knew that I was actually doing a lot of filming. Like this one right here, variegated Begonia calculata, $150. And while I wanted to buy this plant, I just couldn't bring myself to purchase it just yet. Maybe if, plant foldies, if you guys want to hit the super sticker or super thanks to drop a little monetary tip, that could help fund some of my budget. But no, I digress. I'm just kidding. You don't have to do that. I will say that I'm just going to work even harder to produce more plant content for y'all, and maybe that'll boost some of my plant budget. But like I said, again, plant foldies, let me know what you think so far of what you've seen from PlantCon. You can see that Steve's Leaves remains as one of the king nurseries out in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I would say nationwide in the United States. I'm sure that if you are not in the Dallas-Fort Worth area or even in Texas, you may have already ordered plants from Steve's Leaves. Knowing the staff, how kind they were, knowing the growers, how insightful and knowledgeable they were, I would shop from them with so much confidence, because the parameters they have in terms of pest control, the diversity of plants, the amount of care they put in their plants is absolutely amazing. It's inspiring, actually, because it is a full-fledged production. And again, I am hoping that I'll be able to film their nursery someday. I will reach out to their media relations. So it was really cool to also go to PlantCon, because here's the thing: when you go to PlantCon, you meet so many different people. You meet people that love plants, you meet vendors, you meet importers, you meet media. There's just so many people that you can meet. So the networking possibilities have just been amazing for me, and it's just made me super happy to be able to see so many people just really involved in the plant community. Now over here, you can see that there are some variegated Epipremnum pinnatum Cebu blue pothos, and you already know I have to say this in every video, but my family is originally from the Philippines, and so I always like to share some of my heritage in conjunction with plants. And what I mean by that is, a lot of the plants that we're seeing here actually grow effortlessly, no plant care at all, because in the Philippines, the climate is the perfect climate for a lot of these aroids, these tropical plants. For instance, at Epipremnum pinnatum Cebu blue, that is endemic. That is basically a weed in the Philippines. It grows everywhere. And it's just interesting that we have the variegated form now that I am going to purchase, or did purchase, when I was at PlantCon. And then over here, you can see that this is another this is a Monstera albo. And Monstera albo, as far as its variegation, it really depends on the initial genetics. So when you think about that, you want to make sure that if you want a highly variegated Monstera albo, you're going to have to pay a little bit more, but the reward is bigger for you, because I ended up actually buying a Monstera albo highly variegated from Fitzgerald's Tropicals. You already know, Plant Foldies, I love to support local businesses, plant shops, and that, like this one right here is for $250. My Monstera albo that I got from Fitzgerald's Tropicals can rival this high variegation. Now, if I didn't have a Monstera albo, I would have definitely purchased it for $250. That honestly is a steal, considering that Monstera albo has really good initial genetics that you can propagate from. Now, with Monstera albos, even though it is the initial genetics of the plant, I do think that if you provide it with more light, it is going to influence it to where it could potentially push out more variegation. Like I say in all of my videos, Plant Foldies, it is all about that light. That bright indirect light is what you want to give to most of your plants if you really want to see them grow at their maximum potential. I love the look of the bio orb. That is another dream bio orb sphere that I wanted to get. You can see that that's the pricing right here. And you can see that this begonia brevirimosa, hard to pronounce, fit for $20 would be a perfect plant to put into that actual terrarium. That's something that I want to also explore into my my interior, my indoor space. And after going to PlantCon, there were a couple of things that I took back as far as what I wanted to do with my plant collection, where the direction it was going to be. So you definitely need to stay tuned for that. I know that my plant room, which I have neglected and basically sent all of the plants that were sitting there into plant heaven, has been restored. I just have to clean it, make sure that there's any, if there's any potential pests, that I would get rid of that. And then I'll start to move some of my plants that I've been hoarding all over my living room. I am planning on doing a houseplant tour soon. So if you do want to see a houseplant tour, my personal plants, please make sure, number one, you have hit the like button. Number two, you leave a comment that says houseplant tour, please, #growfolds. I'll look for that. If there's a lot of comments and engagement, I will work on it even faster to get that houseplant tour for you guys. And again, for those that continue to watch my videos, thank you so much. The biggest help you can do, and especially for my new viewers that are watching this for the very first time, please hit that like button. The like button definitely helps. I mean, the first PlantCon video, plant haul I did, ended up getting 200 likes, and it ended up just getting pushed out to so many people. And I really would hope that my efforts would be validated and also rewarded by you guys by just getting that validation, by getting that like for y'all. And then also you can see right here, Plant Foldies, I just couldn't get over the fact that they had so many Monstera albos in production ready to go. And you know, Monstera albos, they used to be very expensive. I would say the price has gone down. It's definitely held its price as compared to the Monstera Thai Constellation, because I don't really think Monstera albos are in full production for tissue culture. Leave it in the comments if you know any insights for that. But I've noticed that Monstera Thai Constellation, as far as the pricing, has just really plummeted, but Monstera albos have still maintained their price. I don't know if there's really a lot of production for that, but you can see here Steve's Leaves, such an awesome booth to start off this PlantCon. It is one of the major booths here. You can see they've got a living wall here. The majority of the plants on this living wall, for instance, I believe are $5, so you can get a lot of value for them. There are a lot of plants that I would have purchased more so if I just spent a little bit more time looking at it. The one plant I want to buy from Steve's Leaves is called a Graptophyllum pictum. I know that it's a plant that's not really rare, but it's a plant that you really don't see at a big box store or even local nursery. So that's the one plant that we wanted to go ahead and get at Steve's Leaves. So hopefully I'll be able to purchase that someday. But as you can see here, they've got several different types of Monstera albos. If you love Monstera albos, please hit the like button for this video. And then you can see right over here, we're just going to keep walking by, and you can see there is a booth for a bunch of the plant influencers or the plant ambassadors there. And then you can see right here we have plants. You can see that we have a Monstera Stadliana, beautiful Monstera, easy to care for. Mine is currently being propagated. I took some cuttings from it because it got a little bit leggy. That plant tends to get leggy when it doesn't get enough light. And you can see that there is some type of variegated type of Dieffenbachia, and then our classic Epipremnum Aureum Golden Pothos. Love that a lot. And then now we're going to pass over here. This is a Wild Roots Nursery, and I was so impressed with the Wild Roots Nursery because they had so many different uncommon, rare, common plants. It was just a huge booth. And as you can see right here, this booth is super full. I will tell you, by day 2, they have been, they were able to pretty much sell through all of their plants. So I was really happy that I was able to get to talk to Brian, his family, and just his son Jake, being able to hybridize some of the plants. So I really love that as well. I'm hoping that I will be able to visit New Braunfels as well to really see the plant nursery and be able to feature that for our viewers at Growfolds. But as you can see right here, philodendron orange marmalade, that one is for $32. So they had a lot of starter plants in 4.5-inch planters. They were priced very well. I happened to buy quite a bit of plants actually from Wild Roots. You can see right here, this is a Ficus aspera clown fig. I actually thought about getting this plant. I ended up opting out and buying something else, but you can see the variegation is nice. Remember, when it comes to Ficus though, you want to provide the plants with quite a bit of light for it to really do well. But as I pan away here, the plant over there is actually a mature version of a philodendron orange marmalade. Really love the look of that. And you can see right here, I don't know what particular plant this is. I'm going to assume that maybe this is some type of Monstera. Not 100% sure, but it is a beautiful plant. And you can see that there is still beauty in a solid green plant. There is something about green plants that are just very tranquil, very serene, just very peaceful. And check this out, plant foldies. Look at this Hoya Carrii variegated reverse in bloom. So they were actually selling a bunch of Hoyas in hanging baskets that were in bloom. So it is a little bit more uncommon to see Hoyas in bloom, but when they do, it is basically the pinnacle of success when it's growing Hoyas. I happen to start to get into Hoyas. I'm starting to collect more. I do want to get that reverse variegated Hoya Carrii at some point. And then you can see right here, beautiful velvet leaves, philodendron choco red. This one is for only $18. It looks very similar to a philodendron verrucosum. Now, the only thing I will say about a lot of these velvety texture leaf plants, the philodendrons, or just plants that are velvety texture, you have to watch out for spider mites. They tend to be a little bit more prone to that. And then over here, we've got a variegated Monstera Adansonia. I think this might be the mint form. Either way, it is a beautiful plant, and that's only for $32. That's a really good price if you want a variegated Monstera Adansonii. I will tell you, by day 2, those were all gone. Actually, the majority of these plants were all gone. Now, one plant I regret not purchasing was the Monstera, or not the Monstera, I'm sorry, Epipremnum Panatum Aurea right here. This was like the Cebu Blue Pothos Aurea version for $32. And the thing about it is, any Epipremnum Panatum grows fast, so it would have been easy to just propagate and multiply. Now, this is the plant that I bought. This was the only Syngoniums Stereomerkii that I saw, and it was only for $45. And this is actually one of my wish list Syngoniums. Now, this Syngonium is a little bit more finicky as compared to the other Syngoniums. This Syngonium has like more velvety textured leaves. It requires a little bit more humidity, and it is a little bit slower in growth. But you can see that this one right here is a pretty large version already. So I had to get that one. That was one that I ended up getting. I also wanted to get a Syngonium Godzilla, but I opted out on it because I have one that's still in rehab. So what I do with my plants actually, and look at how gorgeous this Syngonium Godzilla is I tend to just take my plants, put them outdoors, grow them outdoors in a shaded area, and for some reason, plant pests end up going away. The growth of the plants is highly accelerated when you grow them outdoors. So that's what I've been doing with my Syngonium Godzilla, and that's why I didn't end up buying it from Wild Roots. I would have though if I did not have one at all. And then you can see right here, we've got a Syngonium, variegated Syngonium Chia Pens. This one's for $60, which is actually a pretty good price considering that this Syngonium variegated form is still quite pricey. Now, I was able to get one from GreenspacesID as a replacement plant that was a lot larger and had half moon leaves. I do have one that I'm currently growing, but it's just a smaller form. And then we have this other plant that I'm not 100% sure of. I do like the variegation on it, that Aurea looking variegation for $32. And you can see that the leaves have a little bit more texture. Really love the look of that. And then we also have a Syngonium Starlight for $25. So Syngonium Starlight, love the look of the Syngonium. I happen to get one though on for a much better price from a good friend of mine, Eddie. He ended up getting it to me same size for $5. So again, plant foldies, you already know, as far as my big box or plant shopping videos, I still look for the whether the plant's price is right for my budget. I always encourage people to look at that. And you know, the thing about it is with PlantCon, there were a lot of plants. Some of them were big plants like this. Like this is the plant I probably regretted not purchasing the most. This is an Aglaonema Pictum tricolor for $32. And look at how stunning that is. I love the velvety texture, but then just the tricolor, and it's actually gone down in price quite a bit. This is actually a pretty full plant as well. That was the one plant I highly regretted not getting from Wild Roots. I should have purchased that as instead of purchasing another plant for $32. But you know, hindsight is 2020, and you know that's something you live and you learn. You make decisions, and that was just one decision. I wish I would have gone the other way. Now over here, plant foldies, the Syngonium tricolor red spot. I remember when this plant literally was selling for $1,000 about 4 years ago, and now it is readily available. So a couple of plants I would say that I wouldn't pay those crazy prices would be, for instance, Monsteras. Like this one is still a pretty high price, but I wouldn't pay a lot of money for a Syngonium because Syngoniums are easy to propagate, as well as pothos plants. And we're gonna go visit that as well because there was an amazing Japanese pothos vendor, the first one in the United States that had all of the Japanese pothos available. That is gonna be on another video for PlantCon. I did end up buying one of these variegated plumerias for $50 because that was such a good price. Look at how large these variegated plumerias were. The variegation is stunning. You know, plumerias remind me of my home country, the Philippines, just because plumerias can get up to like 20 to almost 30 feet in height. So just having the variegated form, I think is a little bit more manageable. That one's gonna have to be outdoors in a lot of sun to really thrive. And then you can see right here, variegated Alocasia Friedeck. That has to be the most popular variegated Alocasia that was readily available at PlantCon. A lot of people are ending up buying it because it didn't have those insane triple-digit prices. It was in the $60 range. And again, with variegated Alocasia or Alocasia in general, just remember that they can be considered what you call investment plants, because if you're able to grow them to a pretty good size, they're going to produce corms, which basically means you can reproduce them and repropagate them and have more available to either sell, trade, or gift as a nice gift. Syngonium Molted Mojito. I definitely need that Syngonium. Again, I do not have that, and I love it. Now, here is another Syngonium here. This is a Syngonium Pink Salmon. This is another Syngonium I need to get just because I like the actual narrow trilobes that it has. It almost looks like a Syngonium Pink Splash or Tricolor Red Spot, but this one is just a Pink Salmon. It's still quite pricey for a Syngonium, and then obviously we have the Syngonium Godzilla. But as far as Wild Roots are concerned, I will definitely buy from them. Highly recommend them. Their family, they were just such a kind group of people, and just the passion that they have for their plants. It's really amazing just to see that they were actually a nursery that started out in 2001, and they've already started to really produce so many plants. Like, look at this right here. They've got even Monstera Adansonii variegated forms, and then they have a bunch of Hoyas right over here. Now, I'm not an expert when it comes to Hoyas, but what I will tell you is Hoyas will really get you. Once you start with one, you want to collect all of them. I started to see that in myself, but I had to kind of slow down because, again, I have to stick to my plant budget. I mean, like right over here, I could have even bought another variegated Mickey Mouse Anthusoma, beautiful plant. You know, most people will say this is a alocasia, but it is not. It is actually a xanthosoma. So thank you to Daniel S, who happened to be a plant foldie that will be in this video later on that I met. He loves alocasias. He actually taught me something about that, and that is only for $25. But look at how beautiful the variegation is for this xanthosoma Mickey Mouse. Really like that as well. You know, with any variegated plant, though, you really have to be mindful about their variegation and their needs. You know, a lot of times variegated plants will also need a little bit more humidity just to prevent them from browning. But at the end of the day, variegated plants are not always going to stay perfect. So you also have to be in acceptance for that. I typically cut the brown edges of variegated plants or the crisping leaves. It tends to give it like a nice little overhaul, or that's just with plants in general. If you have plants that are not doing as well, you can always just cut back the dead spots on the leaves. It's not going to hurt it. And then over here, we've just got a bunch of Epipremnum aureum, pothos plants, neon pothos, and we've got some enjoy pothos. And again, you know, while these plants are quote common, these are plants I would still recommend for anybody that is starting a plant collection. Now, I'm not really sure what viewer is going to end up watching my plant com videos, but I will still say, if you are new to plants, do not be intimidated by some of these high prices. Stick to the easy care plants. I always like to say that just because you have common plants that you can find at big box stores doesn't make you any less of a plant lover or plant collector. I think that it's actually smarter in some senses to really invest your money in plants that are a little bit more cost effective, a little bit easier, so you don't have to worry about the money you lose if a plant ends up going to plant heaven. Now this right here though, philodendron orange marmalade, that is just a showstopper. And you know, they had a plant competition, so you can see some of those plants that I will show you later on that were entered in the plant collection competition. That was something else. And then you can see over here, Plant Foldies Wild Roots has a bunch of philodendron and different types of ferns. On the very right is a philodendron Pluto, which I was intending to buy. I think I'm going to end up buying it at Peta's Planters, because that is basically the mother plant of all of those serrated philodendrons. And then over here we have more assorted philodendrons that Wild Roots has. And that's the thing, if you are a philodendron lover, you definitely needed to go to Wild Roots. They had quite a bit of people shopping their area, and who would blame somebody for not shopping in this area, because it's just awesome. And then look at these hanging baskets of anthuriums. That's another thing I learned about people and plants. People are anthurium lovers, and I could see why, just because they had such beautiful, like velvety textured leaves. I mean, you can see right over here, that's a more anthuriums. And then here I ended up buying for $25. These are starter hybrids of variegated bird's nest anthuriums. And the reason why I ended up buying it is because these were actually bred by Brian's son Jake, and he's gonna actually show me a picture of the mother of the this bird's nest anthurium. It is quite small, but there were 2 plants. I actually asked him to help me pick it, and he ended up finding me one with 2 plants. So I got a 2-in-1 special. But look at how gorgeous the mother plant is. I definitely think that even if I am able to grow it successfully to a decent size, I will feel successful. I have 2 anthuriums now, that one and the anthurium I got from GreenspacesID. It's just really interesting. I don't know quite a bit about anthuriums, but what I do know about anthuriums is anthuriums can be very addicting, and I can see why, just because as I was like observing people shopping as well, and I wasn't trying to be weird or anything, sometimes I just like to observe and watch people and their interactions. There were some people who literally were just all about the anthuriums. I got to talking to some of them, and they just said it's literally the veining of the leaf or the leaf shape, or the potential of being able to hybridize anthuriums. And that's the thing, you can actually get a lot of anthuriums from seedlings, so not all of the philodendron are as easy to grow from seed, but it seems like with anthuriums that's a little bit more of a easier task to do. And even this right here, I don't know the specifics of the anthurium names, so you'll have to bear with me, but what I do know is that they're all beautiful. They all have different types of leaf shapes and sizes and pricing, for goodness sakes. Like right over here is another anthurium. I'm thinking this might be a Doriaki. I'm not sure, but look at how gorgeous that variegation is for that particular plant as well. And you know, that is the thing, plant foldies. It is all about the leaf shape, the veining, the texture of the leaves. Like look at all of these anthuriums. Like you cannot blame somebody for wanting to collect anthuriums. Anthuriums were definitely the rave at PlantCon, and I can see why. Like this anthurium right here, for instance, I'll show you, is a cross, and that was I think $85. Like if I could have had that in my budget, I would have totally bought that anthurium just because the leaves seem to be a little bit more robust. But as I pan away over here, we've got even more anthuriums and more anthuriums. So plant foldies, leave in the comments if you are a huge anthurium fan or if you are into Hoyas. Like look at this variegated Hoya carrii. I have one that I ended up finding at Kroger of all places, a grocery store. But this one right here, I think that I should have bought more Syngoniums. I regret not buying that Aglaonema Pictum tricolor, but we ended up purchasing those. I ended up getting some help from Jake, Brian's son, in terms of which plants I should have bought from Wild Roots. And again, I am hoping that I'll be able to travel to New Braunfels, Texas to go see their actual nursery. I'm going to probably save quite a bit of money because the next time I do see their plants available, I will end up buying even more plants. Like I'm glad that I went ahead and pulled the plug in terms of just getting a variegated plumeria, but this Aglaonema Pictum tricolor should have gone home with me. I happened to convince my friend Janae Simone, who also has a YouTube channel, so definitely check that out, to buy an Aglaonema Pride of Sumatra at the very end of PlantCon. You'll see her in the video for that. And then you can see I ended up buying this for $32. This is the Epipremnum pinnatum Cebu Blue Photos, the variegated form. I probably would have traded that for the Pictum, honestly, just because I feel like I would have been able to find that a little bit easier for that price. But again, I don't really want to reminisce on some of the decisions I made at PlantCon. And for those who actually went to PlantCon, let me know what plants you actually regretted not purchasing at PlantCon. Let me know about the plants you ended up purchasing and why in the comment section. I really want to see some more engagement in the comment section. That just makes this channel more fun. And for those that are tuning in during a live premiere, really appreciate it. I love the fact that you guys are all about my YouTube channel and just being able to interact. It is fun to be able to edit this video. I did say that I spent quite a bit of time, hours and hours, filming PlantCon. It was literally a whole weekend of work, but it was good work. It wasn't work that I felt obligated to. It was work that I felt like I wanted to do because of all of the people watching my YouTube channel. Now over here is another Aglaonema Pride of Sumatra. So we're going to talk about Aglaonema, but this is a beautiful Aglaonema that is quite difficult to find unless you're going to import from Indonesia. And I did want to talk about some of the Indonesian vendors later on in some of my other videos for PlantCon. But if you are just tuning in and watching this video, thank you so much. There are going to be quite a bit of videos from PlantCon. My first PlantCon from Houston ended up getting so many views, and for me it was just more exciting to be able to film that event, to be able to take folks that may not have been able to go to a plant convention. You know, I didn't really ever think about going to a plant convention, and I'm glad that I was able to go to the Houston one, and then this one happened to be local in Dallas. It was literally only a 15-20 minute drive to get here, so I definitely there was no excuses for me to not make it to PlantCon. It was really exciting, and you can just see right off the bat, just the first couple of vendors I'm showing you, you know, we have some gorgeous anthuriums here. And again, I cannot thank Brian and Wild Roots for really spending some time with me talking about their plants, talking about how their business started, and even just the practices they have, again, you know, for growing these plants. These are just super amazing. I mean, you can see right over here that philodendron variegated silver sword, $295. But I would say out of all the variegated silver swords, this probably was the best looking one of the bunch out of any of the vendors, hands down. You know, I like to be unbiased when it comes to certain plants like this. Such a beautiful plant. That is another wish list plant of mine. I love silver sword, just the silver, but look at that variegation. There is something very different that hits everybody when it comes to the variegation. And then you can see right over here, this is another variegated alocasia with a black stem for $75. And again, if you want to go collect variegated plants, because I feel like 2024 is the year of variegated alocasias, you can do so. But for me, just because I am on a plant budget, I do believe that these plants, these variegated plants, are eventually going to be even more cost effective if you just wait another year or two, which is all, which I do have. I have all the time in the world to wait for certain plants to go down, just because the trend is always going to show some depletion of the plant pricing until there's another hot plant that will probably appear at a plant con. And again, for those that have never made it to a plant convention, if there are plant conventions, I would highly recommend it, especially if you just love plants. Because here's the thing, we're looking at all of these beautiful, like variegated, uncommon, rare plants, but I'll tell you, in terms of the atmosphere, nobody was snooty. Everybody was literally just oogling over plants. It was a very friendly bunch of people, and so it was just a fun time. And I just, you know, this past weekend just came by so fast, and I just really wish that plant convention would have lasted a little bit longer. But I totally get it. If you would have kept this plant convention going on, I'm pretty sure everybody would have been sold out. There were several vendors that sold out after day one, and obviously they're not as big of a plant vendor such as Steve's Leaves, which basically can replenish since they're local. So I thought that was really interesting. Now this philodendron Wixii, I think that's how you pronounce it. I'm not sure. The green form is still beautiful. I am excited because I am ending up getting a Aurea yellow form soon. So like I said, again, everybody needs to shop Wild Roots Nursery. Follow them on Instagram at Wild Roots. They are based out of New Braunfels. If you're able to actually take a trip to their nursery, I do think that they have some open hours on the weekend, so check that out. I mean, look at this right here. I don't even know what this particular Monstera variegated form is, but it is stunning. It is a showstopper. It is one that anybody, if somebody were to offer you that Monstera for your collection, you would put into your collection. Now, as far as the price tag, definitely it was not within my price range at that current state, but as you can see right here, Brian and his family and just everybody at Wild Roots, they had such a beautiful plant booth. It was just like a little miniature shop with just a lot of cool looking plants. Like, I mean, over here, we're gonna look at this. This is one of my wish list plants. This is a philodendron tortum cross with a philodendron Florida Beauty. Like, wow. Look at that variegation, but look at how serrated the leaves are. It has definitely that tortum vibe about it, and it's just interesting that they were able to cross at philodendron. That is for $750. Again, that is another plant that I just can't afford at the moment. And then this is a variegated philodendron squamiferum, another hot plant, and they had a really large mature form. This is for $1,250. Honestly, that's not a bad price considering the size of this philodendron squamiferum. I've seen smaller varieties, like even cuttings, that are over $1,000. So not a bad price. I just happen to not have $1,250 laying around for just a beautiful plant like this at the current state. So again, maybe if this YouTube channel ends up blowing up and you guys end up sending me like super thanks, super stickers, I might be able to afford that. For now, I'm just going to enjoy the moment and actually just show you all of these plants. Like over here is a variegated papaya tree. Beautiful plant. And you know, the Philippines, they just have a bunch of papaya trees just growing out all over, and just to see a variegated form is really interesting. This one is for $150. Now with a variegated papaya tree, I think it would be a little bit challenging to grow that, at least in my grow zone, which is 8B. Definitely wouldn't be able to grow this outside, and I just wouldn't know what that would look like as far as overwintering it when it's colder. Over here we've got a Burley Marks Flame for $650. That's a really nice looking philodendron, or not philodendron, Burley Marks Flame. Everybody's wanting to get one. It's just not affordable for me just yet. I'm gonna wait till it gets a little bit less. And then this looks like a tortum. I don't know what this particular philodendron is, but this is for $140. It's already on a pole. And then on the very right over here is an anthurium jungle giant crossed with a luxurians. Such a gorgeous plant, and it looks like it's already got some blooms to be able to like get some seeds from. This one is only for $350. I would have bought this plant as well, just because look at how large the size is. That is not a bad price at all, and I'm surprised that somebody didn't snag that right then and there. I'm pretty sure that somebody ended up buying that though at Plant Con. But as you can see right here, plant foldies, Wild Roots, that is another nursery that I feel like everybody needs to shop at. I think that we need to get even more exposure of it. I am late to the game. I know that I've heard of their nursery before, but I didn't realize that they had so many awesome plants. And the prices that they have at Wild Roots were actually very fair, very affordable, even for the more common plants. You can definitely start a uncommon rare collection, and because they have some plants that are just, you know, good starter plants. They also had many varieties of different plants. They had a lot of philodendron, but they also had a bunch of Hoya. So you can even see right here, they had a bunch of starter Hoyas right here, ranging from $18, different types of Hoyas. I wish I was a little bit more of a Hoya expert. Unfortunately, I'm not. But throughout my Plant Con videos, and I hope that you guys will continue to tune into them, you will see a variety of different types of Hoyas. It was just a lot of fun for me to walk around and basically take you alongside with me as if you were actually going to a plant convention. I don't know if there's quite a bit of like plant convention videos. I wanted to make them long form. So if you're into long form plant shopping videos or plant videos, Growfold's channel, my channel, is definitely the place to be at, because I tend to at least make a minimum of hour-long videos. That way you have just some time to just kind of unwind and relax. Listen to me, you know, rant, talk, whatever you want. Hopefully it is a relaxing experience. I don't really have a script or anything. I basically just go ahead and film plants and tell you my insights. So definitely leave comments if you have some questions for me, like this snow bush right here for $10. This is another plant that I should have just bought because the variegation looks cool and it is an easy to care for plant. Those are the plants that a lot of people don't talk about. You know, we always gravitate to the rare philodendrons, but there are so many cool plants outside of the philodendron genus. And then you can even see right here, this is some type of impatient secret love for $10. Look at that. Really like the velvety texture of the leaves. That's another plant that, you know, was pretty cost effective. And then we had some variegated devil's backbone, and this one is for $12. So this is obviously a succulent type plant. Now, if you give it more light, you can sun stress it to the point where it gets even more pink variegation. And I really like the look of that. And then you can see just right over here, we've got some Dieffenbachias. And, you know, again, Dieffenbachias tend to be a little bit more challenging of a plant to grow indoors. But if you put it in a tropical country like the Philippines, these plants will grow into massive sizes with very little plant care just outside. So that's the thing, plant foldies. I will say a lot of these plants, like this philodendron Pluto, for instance, they tend to do better in a climate that matches their original climate. So if it's hot, you know, high humidity, warmer climates, really nice, lighting that they get, they're just going to do a lot better than if you were to just put them indoors. And that's the thing for my plant room. I'm hoping that I can emulate as close as possible for some of the plants by just getting more grow lights. I am getting more grow lights from Sansi Grow Lights. So if you haven't bought any grow lights from them, they have some really good pricing from Sansi Grow Lights. They have sponsored me, and I will be doing a review of another product of theirs, but hopefully you can check it out. I will have a discount code as well for that. And then plant foldies, I'm just going to keep walking over here. So you can see right here, Philodendron White Princess for $15. So I know that the Philodendron White Princess have shown up at big box stores, particularly by Growers Bench, but the same size you can get cheaper from Wild Roots. And I would say their plants are a lot healthier looking than the big box store. And look at this gorgeous Monstera Thai Constellation. This one I believe is for $36. What a highly variegated Monstera Thai Constellation. I'm pretty sure by the end of PlantCon, somebody purchased that plant, and that's actually a really good price for a Monstera Thai Constellation. You can see right over here, we've got a Philodendron Gloriosum. Now, Philodendron Gloriosum you can find at Home Depot. They have been showing up as proven winter plants, but Philodendron Gloriosum, the one thing I will say is it is spider mite prone, and it does not really want to climb up a totem pole. It wants to crawl across the soil. So you want to make sure that that is one thing you do for that plant, is give it space to crawl across rather than to actually climb. Now, Alocasia Jacqueline is another beautiful Alocasia. It is an Alocasia that tends to be a little bit more finicky. And then we have, I think, an Alocasia Golden Bone or some type of Alocasia, Philodendron Ring of Fires over here, and just more plants. So as you can see, plant foldies, Wild Roots definitely brought quite a bit of inventory. And what's even more exciting is they brought all of this inventory and they were able to sell the majority of their inventory. And that's always exciting, especially seeing local family businesses really thriving. I'm all about that. Yes, I am doing more so big box store plant shopping videos. You already know that I do big box store plant shopping videos in a sense that big box stores tend to be a little bit more accessible to the average person that wants to buy plants. But if you have awesome plant vendors, awesome nurseries like Wild Roots, you also want to support them because their plants will most likely be a little bit more healthy, be a little bit more cared for, and just the people behind these plants. Like, you have to think, all of these plants went through some type of care, and I always like to just validate that the efforts of a local plant nursery like Wild Roots, Steve's Leaves, Plants by Tukta, all of those nurseries end up getting the credit that they deserve because they put a lot of effort into a plant. Whenever you actually support a small business or a local business, you allow somebody to continue on with their dreams. And that's the thing I like about the plant community, the amount of effort put in to actually just create this event to be able to show you these plants, but also the amount of love and support that the plant lovers did for the local growers and nursery. It was just really amazing, and I don't regret buying a single plant. I do regret not buying certain plants, but every single plant that I bought, even from like Wild Roots, for instance, super stunning, very priced, affordably for me, and for the quality of plants, like I can't say anything but positive things. So I would really recommend for those that have never heard of Wild Roots and you're watching my plant content to definitely check them out on Instagram, see if you're able to purchase plants from them. I'm sure that they ship. I mean, not 100% sure, but you can inquire about that. But as you can see here, plant foldies, I ended up spending more than $100, and when you spend $100 you get a grab bag, and we're gonna see what I got, which is basically a Sansevieria bird's nest. They actually had a philodendron Spiritus Sancti as a grab bag, so unfortunately I didn't luck out, but you know what, bird's nest is still a nice one. Hey guys, so we're here at PlantCon today, and I happen to find some plant foldies here. We've got Janae, Daniel, and Trish, and so we just got done looking through the initial rush of PlantCon, and I wanted to ask a couple of questions, guys. So like, Trish, what plants did you end up getting today?
Too many to tell. Lots of euphorbias, desert roses, a couple of pothos. Yeah, but I'm ready for more.
You're ready for more? Are we going for like part 2? And then Daniel, like what plants did you end up getting?
So I got a variegated Alocasia odora, variegated Friday. Sorry, I'm looking over there.
I know, right? Don't worry, we don't have no plant thieves yet.
Cactus. I got anthurium, luxurians extravaticans.
Look, he knows all of the plant names.
I got Aglionema rainbow from Peta.
Go Petas!
Oh, I got a philodendron majestic.
Okay. And then Janae, so like obviously you're like a plant influencer, and we've met some of our viewers here. How do you feel about just meeting people that watch the channel, your channel, my channel? Like what is going on?
It feels really good.
Yeah. I don't know, like as far as like PlantCon, what did you guys get out of it? Like as far as PlantCon, we've been talking about this for a while. Yeah. Yeah.
Plant people are just a breed of people. They
It
are.
is.
Everyone is so nice.
Yeah.
It's just been amazing.
You know, as far as like plants, and I want y'all just to answer, you know, what you think. What got you into plants? Like what continues to get you guys into plants? Because obviously we watch all of these people, like we can pan over here, look at this. This is a lot. Like there's so many different types of people. What keeps you going in terms, like what got you into plants? So like Daniel, anybody want to chime in?
Well, for me personally, I was obsessed with like elephant ears and that kind of plant alocasias when I was a kid. I just loved the way that they looked. And then as an adult, just like it's only been about a year for me that I've been collecting plants, but I thought, you know what? I can invest money into this as like something that brings me joy, and the thing that I'm collecting grows with me. Like I put my energy into it and I get something out of it.
Yeah.
You know, it's fun to collect items.
Yeah.
I used to collect magic cards, but
I did too. Shivan Dragon.
yeah, it's so fun.
Yeah, we're not in line. See, there's still lines, guys. If you're not at PlantCon, there's still people going into PlantCon. So yeah.
Yeah, so it's just amazing to take care of something and watch it grow.
Cool. And then, I mean, I got to talk to, everybody knows Trish on the channel. Janae, you were looking for Trish, right? First, and she was literally the first person to make it into PlantCon. Trish, like, tell us about your journey here. You don't have to tell your exact location, but what took you all the way here? Because you traveled pretty far.
It was about an hour and a half drive in horrible traffic. But I made it here. I stayed at the hotel so I could be the number one, although I didn't realize I was going to be. And I've just loved it. I've loved it, and I'll go back tomorrow morning for a little while before I have to make the journey back.
Heck yeah, you'll see me here in the morning bright and early. Yep. And then Janae, like, what can you tell me about Toltec? Like, what you
Obsessed.
watch Janae's channel?
A plant influencer. He made me buy like 5 plants from them, but it's okay. I can't say which plants I got yet, but they're really pretty and bright.
Cool.
She didn't front the money, but it's okay.
I didn't front the money just yet, but
Y'all don't understand. Richie knows everybody. Everybody's like, hey, Richie.
no. No, that's just really fun. You know, Plant Foldies really appreciate it. I know that we've been hanging out, talking. We're going to get a lot of film, but I just wanted to get you guys in here. I know Janae's got a couple of questions and all of that stuff, but I'm going to go ahead and sign off. We'll get some more footage.
Hey, Plant Foldies. So I stole Richie's phone and I'm going to ask him a few questions. I was able to meet Trish and Daniel, and let's see how Richie is doing with PlantCon so far. Okay, Trish, so this is, well, Trish and Daniel, it's your first time meeting Richie from Growfold. What was your first impression, Trish?
Well, I was actually in line for him, and I was talking to someone else, and I glance over and I see Luke. So I'm like, Luke's there, guess who else is there? So I saw Richie, and actually he looked like what I thought he would look like.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
He's adorable.
You're so sweet.
He's absolutely adorable. Yeah, so I think lifelong friendship has been made.
Yes.
I love it. And Daniel, what was your first impression of Richie?
Well, Richie's amazing, but I have to admit that I thought he was older.
Yeah.
And for a long time, just based on his voice, I thought he was a woman. And then I spoke to someone at Plant Keepers and they were like, do you know who you're talking about? Because I definitely said her when I was talking about Richie. But it's just nice to have, you know, someone, you know, younger that's got the same interest as you, because I kind of felt like it was a grandma hobby when I got into it. But
Hey, don't sleep,
there's
hey,
nothing
don't
wrong
sleep
with
on the
Yeah, no,
grandmas.
it's
Grandmas
being
are
the
the best.
grandmas, exactly. But
Fight's about to happen.
I was kind of worried that it would just be me and all the grandmas, you know, hanging out, but it's great to have all ages. Everyone here at the convention is all ages of people. It's amazing to see the diversity of people that love this hobby.
Yeah, a lot of them.
Love it.
I was so thankful to have met Daniel and Trish. Trish was such a sweetheart. Daniel, you are awesome. And I was able to make some new friends that I will keep in touch with. They are locals in the local DFW area. And you can see we did have a little meetup at Peta's Planters booth. You already know I love Peta's Planters. That is a local plant shop out in Dallas. And you can see she's got some philodendron Florida Beauty, just a bunch of nice anthuriums. And, you know, Peta and her partner, David, I'm just glad that they actually decided to actually show at PlantCon. I really felt like their shop needed to be there just because we needed to see more local plant shops, small businesses. I mean, because Peta also has some amazing plants. She has some rare, uncommon plants, but she also has a ton of plants that are affordable, easy to care for plants that I feel like everybody should add into their plant collection. But she does have a bunch of these variegated Alocasia Fridex for only $68.50. Probably the best pricing for that size of Alocasia. She did tell me she ended up buying a bunch, people ended up buying a bunch of those Alocasia Fridex. So that's exciting. You know, I really wished a lot of sales for Peta and David, and I'm sure that they had such a successful PlantCon as well. I hope that they continue to do shows like this because that just really gets their name out there, and it also makes the Plant Foldies have like a central spot to meet. Again, for those that ended up meeting up with me at PlantCon at Peta's Planters, thank you so much. And on top of that, Kevin left a beautiful Alocasia Adora. I think it's an Adora variegated Alocasia for me. I just happened to not be at the booth. Kevin, if you are watching this video, thank you so much. Please send me a direct message on Instagram. I did ask Peta or David, if you ever shop at their store, for them to go ahead and share my contact information, so that way you can text me, because I definitely want to meet you in person and thank you for that beautiful plant. But again, plant foldies, as you can see right here, Peta's planters can be part of the best of these plant vendors, because she also has some amazing uncommon and rare plants. She loves anthuriums, and she actually had a bunch of anthuriums that were hybrids of a clavinarium. I think that's how you pronounce it, for $32, and every single seedling had a different characteristic. And that's the thing, all of these anthuriums have a different characteristic when you grow them from seed, because the genetics are different. But as you can see here, plant foldies, I cannot get enough of Peta's planters. You already know that Peta has some amazing plants. And again, plant foldies, if you are not following them, if you are new to the channel, follow Peta's Planters at Instagram. If you ever make a trip to Dallas, check them out. They have such a gorgeous shop. You can check my playlist. I have several hours of footage really highlighting their beautiful plant shop. But the fact that they had a nice booth with so many different plants that were priced well, and she had a bunch of like handmade planters. Peta does that. And then you can see over here, plant foldies. I will feature this vendor later, but those were plants all imported from overseas, Thailand and Indonesia. And then this was the GreenspacesID plant booth, so I did want to feature them. They had a bunch of rare Hoyas. I ended up picking up the plants that I ended up pre-ordering, so I was super excited about that. There was only 2 Aglaonema that did not make it, and so they were not comfortable giving me a defective plant, so they ended up having me choose another plant, or actually 2 plants that would have made up for it. So I ended up getting a highly variegated Syngonium chia pens. But anyways, here's Trish again. Hi Trish, introduce yourself to the plant foldies.
Hi, I'm Trish.
We just had our little meetup here. We have Daniel and Jamie as well, but Trish was literally the very first one. This is Jamie.
Come on, Dad.
And then come on, Daniel. Daniel S, guys. Unfortunately, I'm gonna stay faceless, but if you you might find me. Hey, and then Janae's right here in the corner. So we've got some plant foldies. We're gonna have some fun. I might ask some questions. She got the Grow Fold shirt right here. Yes. Super nice. Jamie, what do you want to say about PlantCon so far? Your experience?
It has been wonderful.
Yes.
I never expected it to be. Everyone's very nice. So if you ever have a chance to come and do this like next year, do it and get the early pass.
There you go.
Very important, the early pass.
Awesome.
It's crazy now with everybody here. So
Cool. Thank you. Again, it was an honor to meet up and hang out with Trish, Daniel, Jamie, and Rose. I saw you guys at PlantCon, and you can see right here, Daniel has already loaded up his cart. We're about to head over to Toltec Plants, which is one of my favorite all-time plant vendors. If you think about Toltec Plants has so many amazing plants that are imported from Thailand. They actually have their own farm that imports a lot of these plants. So you can see right here, gorgeous looking plants. We went here for the Aglaonema specifically. Look at that Aglaonema over there, that pink, that Aglaonema Lotus Delight. But we are gonna take a look at some of these plants. I know Janae was just going crazy over that. You can see that this is some type of monstera. I think this might have been the creme brulee, which is a higher variegated form of the Thai constellation. That price, but this one right, she don't look real, does she?
No. So I was telling Janae is, the thing about Aglaonema is
I'm back on with some of my folks. Pearl, how are you? Huh?
This is what I want.
I have these here.
She loves Aglaonema. We need to pull it through. You're gonna have to shell out a little bit, but it's worth it. Look at this.
My heart just started.
Look at this. Look at this. Hold on.
Stop it.
Oh my gosh, that's the red succulent. Red succulent.
Wait a minute now. Here we go.
Richie, give me money.
Look, plant foldies. We need to go ahead and drop a super thanks or super sticker. I need this. Fun me. This is one of my favorite. That's the Aglaonema Lotus Delight. Oh, that's the.
What's the name of this one?
Stardust. Oh my goodness.
You need that.
Tell me no.
Tell me yes. yummy, yes. As you can see, Janae Simone's joy just seeing all of these gorgeous Aglaonema from Thailand. I love it so much. Like this Aglaonema tricolor, everybody needs that. And you know, Aglaonemas are so underrated. And I will tell you, there needs to be more discussion about Aglaonemas because there's so many different varieties. I think the reason why they're not as sought after is because they're not readily available. There's not a lot of discussion in the western part of the world, like the United States. But Aglaonemas are easy to care for plant. Like you can see right over here, they have an Aglaonema super white, but this Aglaonema Lotus Delight we got for such a good price. That is still such an expensive price of Aglaonema, and you can see right over here, Toltec Plants has so many different variegated Syndapsis, philodendrons, syngoniums. They had it all, and I'm so thankful that Pearl, my friend Pearl and her husband allowed me to film their plants even behind the table. There will be more Toltec Plants that I will feature in some of the other PlantCon videos I'm going to be premiering this week. They happen to just be one of the plants vendors that I bought quite a bit of plants from. So I bought a lot of Aglaonema from them. I intend to buy more Aglaonema from them. I'm just going to order them from online. Most people think that they are a wholesaler, but they can actually ship you individual plants. I would recommend just following them on Instagram at Toltec Plants. I believe that's how you find them. And then just send them a direct message. They should be able to respond to you. They also have a website. And as far as imported plants, their plant pricing is really good, considering you don't have to worry about importing the plants. You don't have to worry about acclimating the plants. And you know that these plants are sourced out from a sustainable source because it's their farm. So there are just a lot of great factors. If you're going to ask me top 3 plant vendors at a PlantCon, hands down, Toltec Plants would definitely be in the top 3 because they had all of these beautiful plants. But not only beautiful plants, they had great service. The people behind Toltec Plants are amazing, kind, down to earth. Like I just love Pearl. She was such a joy to talk to, and she was just very excited to share her plants and also to bring joy to people like me, Janae, and the plant foldies to be able to afford some of the plants she had available was just stunning. And you know, I was given access to actually walk behind Toltec Plants' booth, and you can see right there they've got a bunch of assorted syngoniums. Really like the look of the assorted syngoniums right here. They just had a lot available, and you know, as far as syngoniums, again, these are easy to care for plants. You can see that Janae's looking at this highly variegated philodendron. I don't know what this philodendron is. That is another plant I regret not purchasing, but the good thing is I was able to you know, make a connection with Pearl, and I should just be able to direct message her on Instagram and potentially purchase that. But we did put our plants to the side because we did want to do some more plant shopping. You can see they've got some syngoniums here. Like this one, I'm not sure what the syngonium is. It might be one of the more easy to care for syngoniums, but needless to say, this syngonium is still gorgeous. And then she just had all sorts of other plants. Like I ended up buying this gorgeous looking Aglaonema Orange Stardust. And again, as far as Aglaonemas that are imported, Toltec Plants are the best importers for Aglaonema. So please, 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 plant foldies, share their Instagram, share the news about Toltec Plants. I really want to make sure that we get high visibility for them, because you can see right here our bags are ready to go. We already got some more Aglaonema, and they also have some really cool philodendron, like that philodendron variegated black cardinal, such a gorgeous plant. They also had a philodendron variegated golden dragon. They just had all of these like high wish list plants, but these are plants that you really just can't find. And I just love the fact that they were very approachable. I told Pearl I would help her on the next PlantCon just to even set up and just even sell plants. I was over there trying to hype up people that were going to the booth, about telling them about the Aglaonema, about the syngoniums. And so plant foldies, for those that have made it this far into the actual video, really appreciate it. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video so far. There are going to be several videos that are going to be more than an hour long in the heading, you know, coming up days. So just please make sure you are subscribed to the channel with the notification bell on. I also want to make sure that you guys leave comments, follow these plant vendors. If you follow them on Instagram, say that you found them through Grow Folds. I really want to make sure that my efforts to show PlantCon pay off also for the plant vendors. And you can see over here, I should have bought this one right here. This was more of a narrow form Syngonium 3 Kings. You can see that red running right here, the Aglaonema Jaipon Suksum. We ended up getting that for Steve Steve of I Lift Plants, a really good friend of ours who is also part of our future podcast called Cultivation Corner. So definitely check that out. But plant foldies, this is going to be one of the first videos of PlantCon that I make. I'm going to hopefully get more videos. So if you like this video, definitely subscribe to the channel. Definitely let PlantCon on Instagram know you saw their plant vendors. I mean, look at this strawberry ice right here. That's another plant I ended up getting, thankfully, at PlantCon. But as you can see right here, I just was going all over and I was just going crazy. I had to get all of the aglaonema from Toltec Plants. I cannot say... And you can see all of these philodendron golden dragon. This is another wish list plant from Toltec Plants. So you already know Toltec Plants, when you look at all of the plant vendors, they had some of the most amazing plants because they have access to plants overseas from Thailand. And again, their plant pricing was actually really good for the plants that you would actually see here. Like this variegated philodendron golden dragon was actually pretty priced well. I just didn't want to spend all of my budget, and just knowing that I would be able to like reach out to Toltec Plants to be able to buy plants in the future, I wasn't as concerned about being able to buy all of the plants, although I did spend quite a bit just because aglaonemas, again, they always get me. And in plant foldies, you already know if it's aglaonemas that I'm going to be all about it. And I hope that you guys will get into aglaonemas, go to Toltec Plants, support PlantCon, just check out all of these plants. Like over here, this is another syngonium that I regret not buying, but you know, this is a plant that I'll be able to find from Toltec Plants. If you have some favorites of plants that you've seen so far in this video, again, please leave comments. And then again, to Daniel, to Trish, to Jamie, to Rose, to Isaac, to Janae, to anybody who came up to me at PlantCon and just started a conversation, I really appreciate it. It has meant a lot to me to be able to meet a bunch of our plant lovers and just to be able to share this experience with you in person, but also virtually via my plant videos. And again, I would love it if you guys would be able to share this video on your social media platforms, if you have some Facebook plant groups, as well as on your Instagram pages, anywhere that we can create some more awareness of PlantCon. I would really appreciate that, just because not only will this help grow my personal channel, but it'll also get the word about plant conventions. I think that plant conventions are not as readily available, and I think that with having more longer form content to be able to see the plants as if you were actually shopping really does help bring more people to these conventions and actually make people excited. Like I was definitely excited to keep showing you these plants by Toltec Plants. I mean, everywhere you turn, there's something variegated, there's something lush, there's something full, and you can see Pearl right there just talking it up with everybody. So again, plant foldies, if you haven't already heard of Toltec Plants, everybody needs to shop Toltec Plants. Please hit the like button for this video. I've really enjoyed making this video. This is one of many videos that will premiere this week, so definitely stay tuned. This is Richie at Growfold. Please subscribe to my channel. I will definitely see you on the next PlantCon video. I'll see you then, and have a good one. Bye. Good day, my plant foldies. This is Richie at Growfolds, and today we'll be at PlantCon 2024 Dallas, day 1, and this is part 2. As always, please make sure you're hitting that like button, as well as following me on Instagram at Growfold. As you can see, plant foldies, this is the second video from my PlantCon 2024 Dallas series, and you can see right here we are looking at the Hive Plants. So we had a part 1 of day 1 that featured a lot of some of the vendors such as Steve's Leaves, Wild Roots, We also had Toltec Plants, as well as plants by Tukta. And now we are looking at Hive Plants. You can see right here, Hive Plants actually had a lot of very cost-effective plants. Like you can see right here, this is a Syngonium ornithong, which I ended up getting at another vendor, but this one was not a bad price at all. Syngonium ornithong is beautiful because of that round shaped leaf and variegation. And then this one is a wish list plant of mine. This is a variegated Monstera mint, and when you talk about another plant that I regret not purchasing, this is another one. That one is, I think, for $175. It's still a little bit pricey, but that is a plant that is definitely on my wish list, as well as this. This is an Alocasia variegated dragon scale. This one, I believe, is only for $75. And when you think about the variegation, that is beautiful as well. And that is another plant that I wish I would have purchased because it was fairly priced. And with variegated Alocasia, you don't really have to worry about them reverting. And then this is another wish list plant of mine. I'm just going to wait till the price goes down a little bit further. This one is an Alocasia pink black velvet. This is only for $250. So, you know, it has gone down in price. I know that the PlantCon in Houston, these were selling for about $500. So it's half the price of what you would pay now. Give it another year or so and you'll be able to get those plants a little bit more affordable. But again, plant foldies, if you are just joining my channel, I call my viewers and subscribers plant foldies. Welcome. And to those that tuned in to the day one, part one of my PlantCon 2024 Dallas edition the other night during the live premiere chat, thank you so much. We ended up getting 110 viewers watching live. And so I hope that everybody is excited. Everybody will share this video. And if you haven't already and you made it this far into the video, please hit that like button. That is all I'm asking, just to validate that I am doing a pretty good job getting you this content. You know, my goal was to film PlantCon 2024. So I took several hours of PlantCon videos just to take you alongside a plant convention. I know that many of you guys who watched this channel may not have been able to make it to a plant convention, but at least you can see the overall vibe of the PlantCon and just seeing all of these plants. Like you can see that this station right here has a bunch of variegated Alocasias in starter form, and I like that because if you buy a plant that's starter form, you get to watch it grow, you get to invest a little bit more time on it. Now over here, plant foldies is a variegated Monstera adansonii for $55. Not a bad price at all. You know, with variegated adansonii, it is a pretty funky plant because I love that variegation. And then Alocasia alzanii, this one I believe is only for $15. It's already growing in leca and semi-hydroponics. So I love the Alocasia alzanii because look at how dark the foliage is. You already know if you've been watching my daily videos, and yes, I do post daily. I talk about dark foliage plants. That one is so beautiful. Now plant foldies, take a look at this. So this is a variegated Alocasia dragon scale for only $35. It looks like these are newly sprouted corms. And then we also have a variegated Alocasia frydek for only $15. So when you talk about cheap, inexpensive plants that are rare, you need to go to Hive's Plants. They are based out in Cypress, Texas, I believe, or the Houston area. And I will say Travis, who I got to talk to, was super kind. I am so glad that I was able to film their plants. I remember seeing them at the Houston PlantCon earlier this year, and they had like a lit up section which made their booth even more appealing. I want to do that with my shelves with my plant room, so they gave me some more inspiration because I love how the lights look. And then over here again is another variegated Alocasia frydek. And you talk about a plant that was highly sought after. It was a variegated Alocasia. And the reason why is variegated Alocasia has actually reduced in price. So people were were able to get more of that plant. Alocasia dragon scale, just a regular form. This one's for $10. So this is an Alocasia that you can find at a big box store like Lowe's. You can find that for $14. Usually Urban Jungle offers it, but you can see for $10 you can get that. And then we have an Alocasia scalp room, and I'm really happy to see that. That one is also for $10. I ended up getting one from GreenspacesID, an online Indonesian company that imports plants to the United States. I found out that the Alocasia scalp room is actually endemic to my home country, which is the Philippines. And I always mention this in all of my videos, but my family is originally from the Philippines. And so just being able to see all of these plants that would grow native to the Philippines, super exciting, because we talk about plants, right? All of these rare philodendron, all of these rare plants in general at PlantCon. You have to think all of these plants will thrive even more so in a Southeast Asian country like the Philippines, because the climate is more suitable for these plants. You think about it. We have grow lights right now. We have humidifiers. We have neem oil spray. We have chunky aeroid mix. All of that doesn't really matter when you grow these plants in their native climates. So I just want to make sure that everybody understands that plant care actually goes into how close can you make the plant's environment to the natural environment that it originally came from. But as you can see right here, plant foldies, lots of starter plants. You know, this plant right here, this is a Monstera Thai constellation for only $15. And I regret not buying a Monstera Thai constellation from Hive Plants, because they were so beautiful and they were good starter plants. They would have been a good plant giveaway for all of our grow folds and viewers. Like this one right here was only a $10 Monstera Thai constellation. So if you wanted a starter plant, you definitely needed to go to Hive's Plants. This is such a beautiful place to go to. Right here, I ended up getting this. This is a philodendron green Congo nuclear. Look at how beautiful that variegation is. It looks like a Thai constellation, and I ended up only getting it for, I believe, $15. $15 plant foldies, and this is the reason why, if you've never made it to a plant con, you definitely need to go to a plant con, and you definitely need to be shopping at Hive's Plants. I hope that they are actually at the Texas Rare Aeroid Show, which is going to be on October 26th in Houston, Texas. I already plan to be there, and I already plan to film hours and hours of footage for all of our plant foldies and grow folds viewers. Over here is another plant I ended up getting. This is an Epipremnum alplissima aurea. So this one is also for $7.50. $7.50 plant foldies. So when you talk about cost-effective pricing, I would tell you Hive's Plants probably had the most cost-effective pricing out of all of the vendors at PlantCon, and that actually goes to show that they had so many healthy looking plants. I mean, I love the fact that they were displayed well. The plants look super healthy. The plants were merchandised in a way where you were inspired to just pick it up and buy all of these plants. Like, I was very fortunate that I was able to get early access tickets. So I was able to come in at 8 o'clock instead of at 10. So I was able to freely show you all of these beautiful plants, because by 10 a.m., by 10:15, all of these plants were most likely sold to a lucky plant lover like yourself. Like over here, variegated philodendron burley marks, that one's for $25. And hello to Plant Foldy Luke. You can see that he is modeling the Grow Folds t-shirt. Plant Foldies, if you want to support me, I can ship to you. $25 flat rate for the t-shirt, and free the shipping. The shipping would be included. So send me a direct message on Instagram for now if you want a Grow Folds t-shirt. It does have the QR code to send your future Plant Foldy additions to the actual channel. And you can see right here, this is a Syndapsis aurea for I believe $45. So I also debated on getting it because there are several nodes that I could have cut it back down to get several plants. The only thing about Syndapsis is it's extremely slow at growing, so I ended up just like holding off on it. And then again, this is for $35. This is another variegated Alocasia Frydek. Most vendors would sell this for like 60 to 70 bucks, but I keep saying B. This is Hive's Plants wanted to go ahead and sell that for $35. Philodendron Ring of Fire. This one is only for $7.50. So if you want a starter Philodendron Ring of Fire, it is still very much so cost effective as compared to a big box store. And again, Plant Foldies, if you want a big box alternative to big box store plant shopping, you definitely need to go to a plant convention like this or a local plant nursery. I mean, you can see this Syndapsis aurea. Look at how high the variegation is. And then we also had a beautiful they just have more beautiful plants right over here. Like, look at this right here. This one is another variegated Syndapsis aurea. Love that. And we had more variegated plants, starter plants. And that's the thing right here. Syngonium albo, $7.50. And the thing about Syngonium albo is this has high variegation and it was super healthy. That is another Syngonium I probably should have bought. I was talking to Travis and he mentioned how much he loves Syngoniums and Alocasia. Honestly, I think that Hive Plants pretty much loves every plant, and that is just a joy to watch. Talking to the vendors at PlantCon 2024 in Dallas, it just really reminds you that the majority of people behind these nurseries, these plant shops, really are just like us, people who enjoy plants, people who enjoy collecting plants. And that's the reason why I encourage everybody that watch my PlantCon 2024 videos, not only to follow PlantCon's Instagram, but also to follow all of the vendors I feature. Please leave a comment on their post. That really drives the Instagram algorithm for them. That way they can get even more exposure. I think exposure to the plant community is a must. And even when you guys actually hit just the like button for my videos, and I mention this because we had like over 100 people watching the videos. I really hope that you can listen to me and help me grow this channel even more so by hitting that like button, leaving comments, sharing this video on maybe your social media platforms, or to anybody who wants to watch PlantCon or loves variegated plants or just rare plants. That is really my only ask. That way I will continue to make daily plant shopping videos. And if you haven't already, plant foldies, please make sure you are hitting the subscribe button, but not just hitting the subscribe button, making sure that you hit the notification bell on. So any type of post I have, whether it's a poll, whether it's a shorts video, whether it's a live premiere chat, or even a photo, will notify you immediately. Now, plant foldies, I did go through a lot of those Syngoniums. Now, the thing about Syngoniums and all of these philodendrons, I love the fact that Hive Plants has a lot of easy to care for plants. Now, you know, that's debatable about some of the variegated Alocasia, but when you think about philodendron, Syngoniums, Monstera, those are quite easy to grow. They just need bright indirect light. And then for the most part, if you wait for their soil to dry out about 60% or even completely and give it a good soak, that is literally all you need to do to keep these plants alive. You can see over here, we've got even more Syngoniums. And I'm happy to announce that I have actually boosted my Syngonium collection back up. I've been able to rehab some of my Syngoniums, and I have been able to get a lot of my plant care taken care of. Like you can even see right here, beautiful Florida Beauty starter plant. And this is not a bad one at all for $22. Again, super cheap, super affordable, inexpensive, rare plants coming from Hive Plants. Now you can go to hivesplants.com to see if they have any of these on sale. Right over here is a Syngonium Panda. Love that as well. Easy to care for Panda for only $15. And the variegation is pretty stable on a Syngonium Panda. Now it has that almost like that Monstera Thai constellation variegation. And the thing about it is, plant foldies, when it comes to variegation again, oh my gosh, I forgot. This is a philodendron Spirit de Sancti for $40, and that is another plant that I regret not purchasing. Now there was a better deal at another plant called Live With Plants, which is an importer from Thailand that was selling large ones for $100. But if you don't want to spend $100 and you want a starter plant, you can go to I keep saying Hive Plants for only $40. But you can see right here, so many starter plants. And I'll tell you, if you want to go to PlantCon, I would highly suggest getting the early access tickets. I wanted to thank Ava and also the PlantCon media relations department for just getting me some free early entry PlantCon tickets. I was able to get a lot of the filming done early on before the crowds came around, and I was able to get this to where I can show you these beautiful plants that were available before the masses came around. Like this is a Rhaphidophora tetrasperma variegated, another wish list plant of mine, but I am looking for one that has some pretty good variegation. There was one that I regret not getting from Plants by Tukta. That is another local plant seller out in Mansfield, Texas. But you know, when it comes to it, especially with the local plant vendors, I should be able to get in contact with them, and I'm sure that they have some of these plants back in propagation. Now, plant foldies, you can see right here, another interesting philodendron starter plant. And you know, starter plants, I know that some of you guys may just want to buy starter plants. I'm hoping that this video shows you a lot of the starter plants. That one is such a beautiful philodendron right here. You can see that has started out. This is a philodendron black cardinal variegated. I know that Toltec Plants sells those as well, and if you haven't seen their plants, you will definitely see them again. They were one of my favorite plant vendors. They were super kind to me. And then you can see right here for only $70, and if it was $10 I would have bought that. But that is a variegated alocasia dragon scale. And you know, I love the shape of a variegated alocasia dragon scale. And take a look at how beautiful this is. This is a philodendron strawberry shake. Now, I ended up getting a philodendron strawberry shake from Art Flower Garden, another Indonesian importer, for like $20. But again, you still can get some pretty good plants here. Like this one is for $65. Now, I think that this is awesome. This is a philodendron orange princess. So you know, when you talk about orange variegation, that is a little bit more uncommon. And then this is a philodendron red Congo variegated for $250. And you know, these philodendron Congo plants, the green Congo, the red Congo, all of those are just typical plants. But when the variegation comes around, their value becomes a little bit more expensive. But again, Hive Plants had so many starter plants. Please follow them on Instagram at Hive Plants. You can go to their website. And again, I am hoping that they will be at Texas Aeroid Show, because I will be buying plenty of plants from them. And look at how beautiful this is. Oh my goodness, plant foldies. Look at this, look at this, look at this. This is another Monstera Thai constellation for $85. Gorgeous plant. Look at how high that variegation is. And again, plant foldies, we talk about the beauty of green plants. And I am all about green plants. You know, I am one of the first people to tell you that just because a plant is green doesn't mean that it can't give us that excitement. But I will say variegation, especially going to a plant con, like look at this variegated black cardinal. I mean, that is just so beautiful. I love that caramel tone about it. And you know, I like the fact that they also had these clear pots. So you can see right here, this is an alocasia variegated cuculata. This is a legit cuculata right here. And that is another alocasia that I regret not purchasing. So you know, the variegated alocasia is definitely 2024's plant of the season, trending plant. I just hope that we see more of those coming out in the near future. With the resurgence of tissue culture plants, we're able to find more plants available. I ended up getting a tissue culture plant, but you'll see that on PlantCon Day 2 video. Hopefully I can get it to live, but it's one of those things that you know, with tissue culture, you'll be able to see a lot of these plants. But I will say for Hive Plants, all of these plants are either propagated in-house, because you can tell that they're super healthy. And I hope that, you know, I wouldn't even say hope. I already know that Hive Plants did extremely well, because by day 2, their booth was almost sold out completely. And I just love that they had so many starter plants. That's the thing that they needed to do, is actually have plants that were affordable. Because I would say the feedback from Houston Plant Con, the earlier Plant Con that happened this year, was there were a lot of plants and they were gorgeous, but they were super expensive. And so for those that are just going to a plant convention because they don't know a lot about plants, or they're expecting plants that you would see at a big box store, it's nice to see that we have beautiful starter plants like this for $10 that are still affordable for the average plant lover. Like for me, I look at plants for the cost. I am definitely one of those people that want to be on a budget. Clearly, my budget was way beyond the budget that I had originally for PlantCon, because they had such beautiful plants. But, you know, in general, you want to always go plant shopping and compare and contrast what plants you have available. I would always say compare and contrast the plants. Now, it was a little bit more challenging to go to PlantCon, because by the time they've got all of these people, there were hundreds and hundreds of people at PlantCon. You were really competing to try to find all of the plants that were not only beautiful, healthy, healthy but priced effectively, and you just couldn't get to every single booth. So, you know, for the people that are planning on going to PlantCon, again, I would recommend early access tickets to really purchase plants if you are going to PlantCon to find your wish list plant. Like this right here is a philodendron yellow flame. Plant foldies, you already know I love neon colored plants. I have a ton of neon colored plants coming around. Actually, I ordered some plants from Plants and Pampering. They should actually arrive to me this Friday, so I'll be able to actually film that unboxing for you. I have quite a bit of content filmed this week. I'm actually happy to have that. And then like right over here, you know, just being able to show you all of these plants. So if you are new to the channel and you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please make sure you are subscribed to the channel with the notification bell on. And I'm going to repeat this multiple times, but if you haven't already, please make sure you are hitting that like button. I cannot tell you how much it helps push my content out to more plant lovers like yourself. It will just be super exciting to get even more plant foldies to grow this community. Now, as you can see, plant foldies, I am walking around to show you some more of these plants. I will eventually get to this booth right over here. You can see that this is the Zaddy plant therapy. Love that as well. And he is actually based out in California. You can see that he's got different types of monstera and a bunch of beautiful aglaonema. So look at this right here. Gorgeous aglaonema. Let's see how much it costs. I don't really have the cost for it. I believe this is the aglaonema rainbow, and I love aglaonemas. I actually had the intent to go to PlantCon to see aglaonemas. I just feel like aglaonemas are a plant that's not really discussed. It's a plant that not a lot of people have a lot of attention to. Same thing with syngoniums. I think syngoniums, you know, when you look at it, this is full pink syngonium. These plants are not really talked about. You know, the more famous or more talked about plants would be like the variegated alocasias, variegated philodendron, but aglaonema, I think it's because we don't have nearly as many varieties available for people. So I hope that I can actually show you more varieties of aglaonema. If you're gonna go see aglaonema, go to Toltec Plants on Instagram and definitely check them out. You can see right here anthuriums. So let me tell you about anthuriums. So many varieties of anthuriums, and I didn't realize that there was such a huge following for just anthuriums. I have become an anthurium fan, and I will be collecting anthuriums. Now over here is what you call a whip-away philodendron starter plant. So that's not a snowdrift plant. So that's basically the whip-away, which is a more variegated philodendron, I believe. The snowdrift is like the poor man's version of the whip-away. But as you can see here, so many beautiful plants. Again, all of these plants, this booth is really more so for the rare collector plant. Now, this is one of my wish list plants. I unfortunately couldn't afford it yet. This one is a philodendron caramel marble. Beautiful plant. It's a serrated type philodendron that's similar to the Ring of Fire, but you can see that it's got more caramel variegation. I'm hoping that that will eventually go down in price just because I want to collect all of the serrated philodendrons. So far I have the philodendron golden crocodile. I have the philodendron Ring of Fire. I have the philodendron jungle boogie, and I'm hoping to get the philodendron Pluto eventually and some other serrated philodendrons. But as you can see right here, plant foldies, plant zaddy therapy, you can also follow on Instagram. Beautiful plants, and I love all of the variegated plants. Now you can see right here, plant foldies, that there were lots of different types of vendors. Luke is currently with me, and I'm so thankful that Luke went with me this morning just because he was able to haul a lot of my plants. Now when 10:30 hit, after he met some of the plant foldies, by 11 o'clock, he ended up taking my plants back home so I would be able to freely shop and film. I really did my best to try to get as much footage of all of the plant vendors. So hopefully I got enough plant vendors. And if I wasn't able to get you in these plant shopping videos, I definitely will make an attempt to even do more filming. There was just a lot of plants and people to really entertain. Super thankful that I had some plant foldies meet up with me in person. It's always nice to just meet up with y'all. And then you can see right here again, plant foldies. I love Toltec Plants, and these Toltec tropical plants from family farm. These are plants that were actually imported from their farm in Thailand. And Pearl and her husband and staff, they were just super nice. I wanted to shout out Pearl again. Thank you so much for getting us a very good price for my Aglaonema Lotus Delight. You do not even understand how much joy you brought to me, to Janae, to the plant foldies, to just have these beautiful variegated plants that are very hard to find. When you think about it, like, I mean, look at this right here. Toltec Plants had this one right here. This is a beautiful variegated, I would say this is some type of galaxy type variegation, where you can see that there is really more that Monstera Thai constellation modeling on this plant. That was a plant that I wanted to purchase, but again, you know, while they had some really good pricing, I had a budget and I really wanted to purchase a lot of plants from Toltec Plants that were Aglaonema. When you think about these variegated plants, like look at this plant foldies, you already know that you're going to get some beautiful variegated plants. These are variegated spathiphyllum, or what you call peace lilies. And I mean, you got to think, right? If you're going to buy something like this, that's $90. But instead of having to go to import it, you know, importing, you'll spend at least $90 to ship the plant, plus another $40 or $50. I would just recommend purchasing for Toltec Plants. Now, the cool thing about Toltec Plants is that they are actually based out in Florida. So they are in the United States. They import these plants directly from their farm in Thailand. So you already know that their best practices, they're getting their plants from a sustainable source. And that's the thing, plant foldies. We have to remember when looking at these beautiful rare plants, where these plants are sourced out. We want to make sure that it is a sustainable area with good practices. And I will say that Toltec Plants, hands down, they've been in the business for years. I'm just thankful that I was able to meet them out at PlantCon in Houston and to see them again. I was just so excited to see Pearl. She was super kind, and you can even see that, like right over here, she's got some beautiful Syngonium strawberry ice. Now with Syngonium strawberry ice, you can see that they've got some good variegation on there. You want to find one that has some really good variegation, because the variegation is really dependent on the plant's initial genetics, which goes back to all of the plants at Toltec Plants. Their plants have some really good initial genetics, so you will always get some good variation from them. I would tell you, if you're able to find Toltec Plants at a show, if you're able to go buy from them on their website, you can even send them a direct message on Instagram. Just follow them at Toltec Plants and send them a message. I'm hoping that Pearl will sell me some more Aglaonema and some more plants directly from Florida. They used to be based out actually in Flower Mound, Texas. I am based out in North Dallas, so it was really easy for me to film PlantCon 2024. It was literally a 20-minute drive. And for the PlantCon organizers, if you're watching this and listening to this, please put PlantCon in Dallas again in Allen, Texas. It just made it easier for me to travel and to get all of this footage. I was told that Allen, Texas has never actually hosted such a big international event, so that was super exciting. Now over here, plant foldies is another type of ficus plant. Look at how beautiful that variegation is. And again, plant foldies, I'm taking a little bit more time on day 1, part 2 PlantCon to show you Toltec Plants. I know that we were super excited. Me and Janae ended up getting some Aglaonemas, but I also wanted to take the time to make sure that Toltec got a lot of exposure. And plant foldies, you can see right here, another Syngonium of some sort, beautiful Syngonium. And I always recommend Syngoniums to anybody that's starting their plant collection, as well as Aglaonema. Like this is another Aglaonema. Pearl, I should have bought this from you. If you're watching this, or if Toltec Plants is watching this, can you go ahead and sell this to me? I will totally pay for shipping, all of that good stuff. I need all the Aglaonema. And, you know, with Janae Simone, who is a good friend of mine, her and myself were just going crazy over the Aglaonema that was featured from Toltec Plants. And again, plant foldies, if you haven't already, please make sure you are watching the PlantCon 2024 Dallas Day 1 Part 1 video. It premiered last night, if you haven't already, as well as seeing my plant Con 2024 haul. I did do a video before all of these came out of all of the plants I ended up getting at PlantCon. Like this one right here, this is a plant that I probably should have ended up getting at PlantCon, but alas, it was one of those things where the good thing about it is now that we all know about these plant vendors, know that they are actually based out in the United States, we should be able to purchase more plants from them. I want to make sure that we're supporting all of these local businesses and these businesses that are actually based in the United States. So we're gonna definitely see what that all looks like. I am very excited to also show you this gorgeous plant. This one I think is a Monstera, a new type of Monstera. I think this is a Monstera green snow, which is basically a mutation of the Monstera Thai constellation. Now I'll tell you, plant foldies, I have a surprise for video PlantCon 3, PlantCon 2024 day 2 video when you get to see it. And then Aglaonema Lotus Delight. That was probably one of the biggest plant finds I had at PlantCon. And while some people may not be into the colors of it, but look at all of this, like all of that tray of Aglaonema. Toltec Plants, by far, hands down, nobody's gonna go argue with me, had the best Aglaonema available at very cost-effective pricing at PlantCon 2024 in Dallas. So again, plant foldies, if you love Aglaonema, if you love variegated plants, if you love plants that are imported from Thailand, if you want to support a family business, go to Toltec Plants. They also have social media, Instagram page, Facebook. Please say hello to Pearl for me. If you end up going on their Instagram, comment that you found them through GrowFold. I'd love that a lot, just because my intent for a lot of this PlantCon video is to really expose and get a lot of exposure to the plant vendors. Now over here, this was actually not fully set up yet, but this is Live With Plants. This is by another Thai importer, and you can see right here large versions of Epipremnum pinnatum. And then we also just have a lot of these plants. Now whenever you are going to shop from an importer from like Indonesia or Thailand or even the Philippines, a lot of the plants will have sphagnum moss, because these plants were actually brought in from overseas, which means that they can't have dirt. Since they are imported, they have to have a phytosanitary certificate, which all of these plants did. And that is the exciting part, because you're able to get these plants, beautiful plants that most retailers or plant vendors in the United States may not have full access to, especially Thailand. I mean, take a look at this right here. Look at this beautiful variegated Tomathophyllum. These are plants that are readily accessible in Southeast Asia, such as Thailand. I would love to visit Thailand. I would love to be able to visit that one plant market area where it's like the largest in Thailand. I'm pretty sure I'll be able to find those plants. The only thing is, it would just be challenging to even get plants over there. That's the reason why you always want to meet people that are importing plants. Like, I am so thankful that I have been able to make a friend in Toltec Plants by Tukta, and some other importers right over here. So if I needed to get some plants, I would maybe be able to get in contact with them. And then over here, I think is a Houston-based plant right here. Fantasy Garden was also at PlantCon the other time, and Fantasy Garden actually had quite a bit of variegated Alocasia odoras. Really love the look of that, and I wanted to thank Plant Foldy Kevin for giving me a beautiful variegated Alocasia odora. He left it at Peta's Planters, and again, Kevin, I cannot thank you enough so much for even thinking about me, because I wanted this variegated Alocasia for so long, and I'm just glad that you were able to be kind enough to even think about leaving me a gift. I hope that my plant content really does bring you joy, because even that gesture of bringing me a plant, gifting it to me, and leaving it at Peta's Planters, it just goes to show that you also are so kind. And then just at the Plant Foldy community, this community is just very giving, very positive. And so I always tell people, if you haven't already hit the subscribe button, if you haven't made it to a live premiere chat, which typically happens around 7 p.m., maybe 8 p.m. Central Standard Time daily, definitely check that out. And then you can see right here, Plant Foldies, the Secret Garden actually has a lot of oh, I should have probably bought that. That is a pretty good price for a Homalomena Pink Diamond. Another wish list plant of mine. I just love that variegation, but I also love the shape of the leaf. That I think is what is one of the the reasons why it has attracted me is this particular shape of the leaves. I think it's absolutely stunning, but you can see that they did have some more rare and uncommon plants available to purchase at this particular vendor. And it's really nice that a lot of these vendors were local Texas vendors, so it would be a little bit easy to access. You know, I was actually out in Houston, North Houston, visiting my grandmother and my family yesterday. I happened to be off yesterday and today, and so I'm just super excited to also show you my grandmother's plants, her garden, her plants that she's been able to grow. So plant foldies, I would hope that while you support all of my PlantCon videos, that you would also support some of my personalized plants as well. I do plan on doing a houseplant tour for you guys, and so definitely check that out. But right now it is a week of PlantCon content. I mean, you can see right here, look at these gorgeous alocasia, beautiful plant, and I just love how large the foliage is. So if you're looking for a large alocasia, this was the booth to go to. I believe this one was $45 or $35, somewhere around that range. But either way, for a plant that large, that is really nice. Now, to get alocasia that large, you want to grow them outdoors in an area that gets like morning's light. Growing alocasia outdoors has just become a little bit easier for me. For some reason, the ambient humidity or just outdoors in general really just boosts the plant. It's kind of like giving plants steroids when you take them outside. I typically take plants that I'm either rehabbing or wanting to push a lot more growth outside, let them grow through the spring, summer season, and get a lot of growth. But this is the Fantasy Garden. They were really nice as well. I was glad that I was able to talk to them. This is before the mayhem of the general public was able to get in. So you can see that their booth was quite full at that very moment. But by like literally they let everybody in at 10. And if you saw the footage from PlantCon, the line to get into PlantCon was literally out the door, like outside to get in. So instead of paying $35 for general admission, I would highly recommend getting early access tickets. You get to come in an hour before, 2 hours before, and be able to shop these plants. Like, look at this right here. I love it, love it, love it. Plant foldies, if again you made it this far into the video and you haven't hit the like button, please do. Luke will always tell you, smash the like button, smash the like button. Smash the like button, please, and then also leave comments for us as well. Now here we've got some Hypnotic houseplants. They actually specialized in a lot of the Epipremnum aureum or pothos plants, as well as Syndapsis, but they had quite a bit of other plants as well. I will go take a look at that. And then we're going to take a look at some more of the other plants over here. But you can see that PlantCon was actually very much an open space, which was really nice because even with the crowds, it didn't feel too crowded. Like you didn't feel like you were just shoulder to shoulder. And then this one right here, the plant and prop station, this was probably the most successful setup just because they had a lot of plants. And you know, this whole setup right over here, they sold through the entire, pretty much their entire plant. Eddie and his wife, I was so happy to have met you guys. I will film this actual plant station later on and show you guys how much they sold, but they were probably one of the more successful plant vendors because number one, they're kind people, so they were able to really just talk to the plant foldy community or just plant community in general. Number two, they had plants that were not all priced at such a high price, so they had a really good mixture of rare plants and also plants that just bring people joy, easy care plants that you can find at a big box store. I saw that they had large ficus elastica or rubber tree plants for $35, and that was super cool. But as you can see right here, plant foldies, I'm just walking around to gonna give you a pan around of what they have. Tropical Wishes is another local plant vendor that has a lot of rare and uncommon plants. So I didn't end up actually buying any plants from them, but I did want to feature some of their plants. Like this right here is a Syngonium batik for $110. And I'm actually thankful that I was able to get a small starter from Nirvana Tropicals. Unfortunately, they weren't here at this PlantCon. Hopefully they'll be at the Texas Rare Aroid Show in October next month. But you can see you can always just buy starter plants for some of these rare and uncommon plants. This is a Pachira aquatica for $200. So this variegated money tree, I just find it interesting because variegated money trees in the Philippines, you can find large ones that are 4 to 5 feet tall, potted up at a restaurant cafe on the side of the road, and people are really not paying attention to that. Over here, you buy a small one for $200. It's just insane what the pricing looks like overseas, and that's the reason why I just wish when I was actually out in the Philippines back in August that I was able to take a lot of these plants back home. You can see even these variegated plants right here. This is a variegated domesticana, and it's just, I don't know, I am almost like at a loss for words when I just kind of reminisce about all of the plants I saw in the Philippines. If you haven't seen my Philippines plant videos, go explore my YouTube channel. If you just go click on the tab to view my channel, you can see playlists, and I actually have a plant tourism playlist. You talk about all of these plants, and hello over there. We have all of these plants in their they're like full mature sizes in the Philippines. Now this is a really nice Rhaphidophora tetrasperma. Look at that variegation, and they actually had some more mint monstera starters. You know, this Tropical Wishes plant vendor does have quite a bit of rare and uncommon plants. I would also recommend following them on Facebook. You know, support local businesses if you really want all of that. That is so awesome. I just really love that as well. This Rhaphidophora tetrasperma high variegation is only $120. That's something that I should have probably bought, but again, it is all about saving that money, and it's just a lot. Now this one right here is a philodendron orange princess galaxy for $200, and that is such a stunning plant. Look at that orange coloration and variegation, and I do love the fact that their plants were actually sprayed down with some type of leaf shine, maybe some neem oil. I tend to like those shiny leaves. I actually spray my plants down with neem oil as well. And then over here is an Epipremnum Arium Taruno series, bumpy. And then you can see right here, plant foldies, we've got a bunch of Toltec plants again. I had to go back to Toltec plants. I'm sorry, but I had to go feature them again. Look at these beautiful anthuriums. I am actually with Janae, and she's actually featuring a lot of the plants over here. And then you can just see lots of syngoniums, lots of Aglaonema. Right over here is a super white Aglaonema. That red one is a Aglaonema Jaipom suxum. And then you can see I just passed by Janae. We were just oogling over that. And then I wanted to say again, thank you to Pearl for letting us just go behind the actual table to film these plants. You can see they just had so many plants available. They had boxes of plants. Like, look at this. All of these rare and uncommon syngoniums. They had t-shirts available. They had a bunch of philodendron Florida beauties, and I believe these were only for $40. Large Florida beauty plants for $40. So again, plant foldies, please make sure you are following Toltec Plants. They had some gorgeous plants. They even had some anthuriums, for instance, right here. Look at how gorgeous that is. And I am all about anthuriums. Now here's the thing about anthuriums. I am growing my anthuriums now in semi-hydroponics. So I have my first one from Indonesia from Green Spaces in Leka, and then I got my Anthurium magnificum from my grandmother the other day, and I ended up taking it out of the soil substrate and putting it in pon. I actually was able to order some pon, and so I was really excited about getting that started. We'll see if pon works better for me. I am excited that my plant room is really coming together. I had a lot of plants make it to plant heaven, but last night I was working on it. I really wish I was off another 2 days and I would be able to really get my plants arranged, because if you look at my personal plant collection, it literally looks like a jungle when you walk into my home. Hopefully that will not be the case in the next couple of weeks, and I'll be able to do a houseplant tour. I know everybody's been waiting for that. Now, if you comment you want a houseplant tour, I might expedite even more so. But going back to Toltec Plants, you can see that they had a variety of different syndapsis, variegated syndapsis over here. I love the fact that they do a lot of these plant shows, so it's not like you won't run into Toltec Plants. They are based out in Florida. I'm not sure if they are going to be going to the International Aeroid Show that's coming up this month. I wish I could go, but I was looking at tickets to get to Orlando, and it was like $1,300. So unfortunately, unless somebody wants to go sponsor me, I'm not going to be able to make it to that one. I think I should have had better planning, but you know, 2020 is hindsight. That's the vision you get. But I was glad that, you know, PlantCon, it was only 20 minutes from me where I'm based at, and I'm able to show you guys all of these plants. So plant foldies, and for those that are just watching, let me know what you guys think of the plants so far, what you think of Toltec Plants. Like, I really was thinking about buying a bunch of these Syndapsis again, but I was on a plant budget, and for the most part I stayed within budget. And then by the second day I kind of pulled the plug and just said, you know what, I may not be able to see these plants, I may not be able to see them in person to pick them, so I went ahead and just bought up all the plants. And that's the thing about plant con or plant conventions. Whenever you go there, I want you to think of the mindset of, yes, you need to have a plant budget, but also think about some of these plants you may not even be able to find on an online shop. So it's always better just to really think about what wish list plant you want to get. Don't overthink it, buy it, and just know that you can earn that money again. Or that's what I've been telling myself the whole time. And then you can see right here again, plant foldies. I am walking to Live with Plants. He was such a nice plant vendor. I actually ended up following him on Instagram. Day 2, I spent a little bit more time at his booth, but you can see right over here, tons and tons of plants that were imported from Thailand, of all places. And you know, Thailand is one of the leading areas for just rare aeroids and houseplants. Like you can see right here, look at how gorgeous that is. Wow, I don't even know. I think this is a variegated amidrium right here for $120. Such a gorgeous looking mint variegation. And that's the thing about these plants. Again, I can only imagine what these plants would look like at a Thai marketplace where they would just have these on the sides of the roads being sold. It's just really cool. I did do some research and just looked at, you know, some YouTube videos, and it's just amazing that Thailand has so many plants. Like, look at this right here. Such a beautiful plant. I think this is a philodendron orange princess. Not 100% sure, but clearly the leaves are a lot larger. Now, I don't know the pricing. I think at that point, he didn't have all the pricing together just yet. I mean, this is still being filmed right before they open the actual event, but you can see that these boxes are fresh off of an airplane and ready to be sold. You can see there's some variegated ZZ plants, which I almost ended up getting from my friend at Rena's greenhouse, but I'm going to hold off on it because I feel like that is another plant that I have to have some really good lighting, and I don't want to put it in a situation where it's not going to be in a good lighting. Philodendron benifophyllum variegated. Super excited that I finally got one. Mine is currently rooting a little bit more, so I ended up buying it at GreenspacesID, which I will also feature in this video, so stay tuned for that. But whenever you are buying plants overseas, they are in sphagnum, so you're gonna have to leave them in water for a little bit, take the sphagnum off. And you can see somebody's already bought quite a bit of plants. This is right after general admission was already placed. You can see they've got some large Monstera adansonias, maybe a laniata, and then you can see right here DNM Secret Garden, Epipremnum aureum, Japanese pothos, and tropicals plants. So this was probably the most unique, most amazing plant booth I got here, just because who knows about Japanese pothos? So most of them come from the Teruno series. And you know, plant foldies, if you want to know the reason why I call my my YouTube channel Grow Folds, it's actually was originally an origami ASMR channel where I would fold origami paper cranes daily. My goal was to fold, it actually still is a goal, is to fold 1 million paper cranes in my lifetime. I've already done that for a good 7 going on 8 years. And so a lot of my content was really Japanese centric, Japanese culture. I love origami, I love bonsai, I love everything that is about Japan, and I love the fact that they had Japanese pothos. And what's interesting is Japanese pothos, it's basically, I don't even really want to mess up the information, but basically these are pothos plants that are mutations from a certain type of pothos. They have like their own lineage. Like this one right here is the Japanese Global for $150. And truthfully, I probably should have bought this because that would have been one of the pinnacles of my plant collection. I mean, who has Epipremnum aureum Japanese pothos series? Now these plants are a little bit more pricey because they are extremely rare. This is the very first time Japanese pothos have been featured in its entirety, like the whole collection of Japanese pothos at an American or American plant convention. So it was really nice to just take a look at that. So I'm going to spend a little bit more time right there. Here's a beautiful Epipremnum aureum love song. This one is for $220, but basically this is the Marble Queen version of the Epipremnum aureum Shangri-La. Beautiful plant. I may have the lineage wrong. I did want to say thank you to May. It was so awesome to meet you. Just the passion May had for her plants, the pothos plants. There's actually a cool YouTube video of her, which has English subtitles, about her in Japan spending time and really looking at that. And then look at this Sunshine Pothos for $85. This one has more of that neon variegation. Beautiful plant. And again, these are priced a little bit higher because these are plants that are very much so uncommon and rare, especially in the United States. Japanese pothos are just making the market. Like look at over here, look at that that variegation. Again, that is the Sunshine Pothos. And what I was told is all of these plants, these pothos plants actually come from different mutations off of each other. The whole process was very intriguing to me, which actually gets me excited because truthfully, plant foldies, you already know I love pothos plants. They're easy to care for plants. So even these Japanese pothos, like this one right here, is such a cool looking Epipremnum aureum Asaoka. Excellent, Osaka, excellent, which is basically a narrow form of maybe like a pearls and jade or enjoy pothos. Clearly, these are Japanese pothos, so let's just make sure that we put that and establish that these are plants that were mutations off of some Japanese pothos and hybridized there. And I didn't even see like hybridized, more so just found in Japan as these mutations. Like that one has like very subtle green on green variegation. You can see this is another Manjula type looking pothos. Love the round leaves. And what I was told is some of these were discovered, and this was only for $38, discovered because of a certain leaf variegation, and they were just very selective of that type of variegation, and then they ended up propagating it even more so. And then you can see right here, Victory Pothos for $65. You can see that it's got more of a different type of texture, that more crumply texture with a lighter green variegation. So that's the thing about Japanese pothos though, is some of them you really have to make sure you know the plant ID, but you can see like right over here, gorgeous looking plant. And then pothos plants are basically the plant that starts a lot of people out in houseplant collection. I spent a lot of time actually filming this. I will show this again actually. That's another Japanese pothos. It looks like a Manjula pothos, but it is not. And then we can see over here, we have even more pothos. And I love the fact that May, whenever you talk to May, who was actually running the booth, she just had so much passion for these Japanese pothos. She spent all the time talking about it. Like this one right here, look at this Fanfare. It looks like a Marble Queen pothos, but what makes it different is it does have more like narrow shaped leaves. Just the joy that May had to share to the world Japanese pothos. I really think that her mindset was to really bring some exposure to Japanese pothos, because we often see these Japanese pothos being sold, especially the Japanese Global on Etsy as a cutting for like $300, but to actually see more specimens that are a little bit more established was really amazing. Now, I don't know the growth rate of these Japanese pothos. Some of them are probably going to be a lot slower growing, but you can see even over here, look at this one. This one almost looks like a global green pothos. Super rooted though as well, but you can see that green on green variegation. I really like it. And the thing about Japanese pothos to note is the lineage that they come from. So they all are actually mutations from each other, but also just the nuances of the leaf. I think that is just more attention to maybe the leaf shape, the way the variegation is. But you can see right here, this is one of her mother plants. Like, she is so super proud of this one right here. This is a Japanese global on a pole. You can see that the leaves are getting a little bit larger. I really love that as well. And you know, this is really the only time you will see Japanese pothos, and that's the reason why I was really excited to go to PlantCon also for this particular booth. Like, look at how beautiful this Japanese global is. It definitely looks better than the Manjula pothos. Leave it in the comments if you agree. If you disagree, I totally get it, but I really wanted to buy these pothos plants. In hindsight, you know, originally the prices were a little high for me. When you think about pothos, it's very, at least for me, it's very challenging to just really attach like a, you know, a 3-digit price for a pothos plant, because we're so used to finding big box store pothos for very inexpensive prices. But then you got to think, these are very uncommon pothos, rare pothos. They have been hybridized and look for specific genetics. Like this one right here, look at that on a pole. The Enjoy Gold, for instance, like this really looks cool. It looks like a high variegated version of a golden pothos. There are some more of the pothos that you can really tell the variegation and just really tell them apart. Like this one, this is a Taruno Jack. Like you can see the Taruno Jack is a little just more of like a narrow form, and the leaves curl up a little bit more that like a, I guess, a jade pothos. And then you can see right here, this almost looks like a Yesenia pothos. Look at the variegation. That minty color is really nice. And then you can see right over here again, we have Epipremnum Excellent. So this is another beautiful Epipremnum. So she actually had not just the Taruno series there, she had some other Japanese growers or pothos. What I love about Japanese culture, and you know, this can even be said about their plants, is it's very much so curated. So what I mean by it is they're meticulous to detail about certain plants. It's just really interesting that even a common pothos plant has become very much a curated plant. I mean, you can see right here, plant foldies, they had these little starter plants. Look at that variegation, gorgeous plants. And it's just so awesome to see that she was actually out here. What's really cool is she is based out in Texas. So I'm hoping to be able to see May again in the future at like a PlantCon convention, or even at the Rare Aroid show. That would be awesome to see even more Japanese pothos. Again, this was the very first time really seeing this to the public. It's one of those things where if you are a plant lover and you've never seen Japanese pothos, to see them live, to see the care that it took to actually get it like this Taruno crystal green. I mean, look at that. You talk about me loving neon plants, and I was just Googling over it. I just wish I had more of a budget to purchase these plants. I definitely want to collect Japanese pothos in the near future. Like, look at this right here. This is a Marble Prince pothos for $75. That actually was not a bad price at all, but notice how the Marble Prince pothos tends to have more curly, narrow leaves. So they really did select very much so mutations of a pothos plant, which is going to get me looking for more. This one is for $150, but you can see this is more of like a reverted type of Manjula pothos that's held on to that green on green variegation. And she taught me this, like May was just telling me how she, in her personal collection, has a US version greenhouse and also a Japanese greenhouse where she's looking for certain mutations. She did show me some of her own pothos that are in production. So I'm super excited about that. But to really put it down into a niche, we have people that are really into certain anthuriums, aglaonema, all of these other plants. What's really cool is May has something super unique, super universal. And when I say universal, pothos plants, Epipremnum aureum, everybody knows about a pothos plant, but the fact that somebody has really taken the time to grow these plants, to really get them hybridized outside of the the United States is very commendable. And so if you haven't already, please make sure you are following them on Instagram, DNM Secret Garden. You'll be able to find them. She also has a Etsy account where she sells plants. Hopefully she'll have a couple of cuttings. Maybe I might be able to afford a cutting. We'll see. But again, plant foldies, what do you think about these pothos plants? Isn't it amazing? Like I just kept on looking at them, and I know I was with Janae Simone, Trish, and Daniel. I know they ended up wandering off for a little bit, but I really had to take the time to film these plants. She ended up having more pothos plants on day 2, which I will feature in a future video. But you can see right here, plant foldies. Look at how that the hana, which hana means flower, but like I love the fact that this one has like variegation that's very much like a philodendron Florida ghost, where it comes out with a super white variegation and then it darkens to green. The plant genetics, the mutations, again, it's just amazing. And then you can see right over here, this is something that I think plant foldy Daniel was thinking about purchasing. Look at how gorgeous that heteroraceum is. And then you can see right here, this is for $55, Epipremnum pinnatum marble. That's really cool. And then we have some other plants right over here. I'm just going to keep showing you these different types of pothos plants. This one is Epipremnum aureum cast, another cool looking pothos that is more of like a mutation from the marble queen pothos. But again, as you can see right here, just so many different varieties. We've got a Syngonium molted right over there, and then just some more starter plants that she had available. So clearly this booth was really focused on Epipremnum aureum, and you know, this was probably one of the most unique booths out there, aside from the Kokidama booth, which is another Japanese way of displaying plants. That's something that I will feature on PlantCon 2024 Dallas Day 2 video, which will be coming up this week. So if you haven't already, plant foldies, again, please hit the like button. At least hit the like button if you like the pothos plants. Would really love to see our channel grow, and the like button definitely helps, as well as sharing this video with your friends, any on your social media, Facebook, Instagram. I would absolutely love it. I just feel like PlantCon needs more exposure. I think more people who love plants needs to see what a plant convention looks like, because clearly plant foldies, plant conventions bring the best out of people. They show all of these beautiful plants. With May, who is the person that was selling these plants, she just had so much passion and pride for these Epipremnum aureum, and that's just something beautiful to see people into plants with that much love and passion. That's what it's all about. You know, there's some people who collect plants specifically for the monetary value. I don't want to really you know, say anything negative about that, but you know, the best kind of plant collector is one that really collects the plants because the plants bring them joy. There's a certain excitement, there's a certain positivity that comes from just looking at the leaves. Like this right here, this is such a beautiful love song pothos. You can see even the green here, it's got a different type of narrow like neon color, yellow color, alongside with the texture of the leaves. This one right here is Epipremnum aureum moonlight. Really like the look of that. And then you've got Epipremnum aureum sunshine with that neon variegation right there. That is really uncommon. And obviously the love song is beautiful. That is one of my goals. You know, I have started to really give myself more goals. I feel like that keeps me a little bit more focused in some of the things I want to accomplish with my channel and just my daily life. My goal setting has really helped with that. I also love just being able to accomplish these goals day by day. Sometimes I fall short from them, sometimes I exceed them. I will say my PlantCon videos have exceeded my expectations so far. So I want to say thank you again to everybody who has taken the time to watch my videos in its entirety, to hit the like button, to engage with me, to leave comments, for PlantCon's Instagram page to continue to share my my YouTube videos on their actual Instagram that has such a big exposure, and I just can't thank folks enough. But again, going back to all of these plants, plant foldies, beautiful pothos plants. Would you actually start collecting Japanese pothos? I definitely do. It's just a matter of getting the money and the funds for it. Plant collecting can be a little bit pricey. And so I always tell people, you know, I was actually joking around with some of my friends out at PlantCon, how we were going to buy certain rare plants and then would grow them out and then share cuttings. I think that's a cost-effective way to do it. There's nothing wrong with sharing cuttings and giving them to friends. I think that's another way of just really bringing joy to somebody. So I'm hoping to do that. Now, as far as a Facebook page for the Grow Folds YouTube channel, the Plant Foldy community. I definitely want to work on that. I've talked about it for quite a while. It's just a matter of actually taking the time to do it and making sure I'm doing it right. Now, Plant Foldies, you can see right over here, right across is the Hypnotic plants. So they also had some Japanese pothos available. They had some more Syndapsis, Epipremnum pinnatum, and so they had more plants over here. I really like that they were really close at hand. So if you wanted to buy some pothos plants, they were available. And when you think about pothos, the common misconception is pothos are just basic common plants, but then when you start looking at the nuances of some more of the rare and uncommon ones, they are super cool. Like look at this Epipremnum pinnatum of some sort. This one is for $50. I'm not sure what the plant ID is for it. What I do know is I need that in my collection. I ended up getting a mutant mandula from a local plant nursery called Plants and Planters. So definitely check them out in Richardson, Texas. This one was for $20. Now this is this mutant mandula pothos is amazing. It's just very slow growing. Very slow growing. That's the only drawback about some of these more uncommon pothos plants is they tend to be a little bit slower growers. And then you can see right over here, we got another Epipremnum aureum. This one is called Starburst or Sunburst. Beautiful plant. You can see that it's got a lot of variegation. The only thing I would say about some of these pothos plants is with that beautiful variegation means you have to give it quite a bit of light. Most pothos plants are really influenced by the type of light you give it. So less light may actually revert the plant. So you want to make sure that you're giving them some bright indirect light. For these more rare and uncommon plants right here, I think this is another type of Japanese pothos. I would definitely grow them under a grow light just to supplement that light to really maintain their beautiful variegation and colors. But as you can see right here, all of these plants are readily available. Hypnotic Plants is another great plant vendor that they had at PlantCon. I was happy to have filmed their plants. Like look at this variegation right over here. Beautiful plant, and this one is only for $60. So you can see that you can actually take several cuttings and propagate it. Whenever I look at my pothos plants now, I am like thinking about whether I should just propagate them and look for some mutations and see what that looks like. And then obviously I ended up getting an Epipremnum alplicemum variegated aurea earlier from Hive Plants. I got it for a lot cheaper. It was for only $7.50. So with PlantCon, you know, it really depends on your budget and if you just get lucky. A lot of the plants that we ended up finding at PlantCon really was more about just the luck that we had to find them. It's not always about the plant pricing. Sometimes it's literally you just happen to be at the right place at the right time for the right plant for the right price, if that makes any sense. But yes, Plant Foldies, you definitely need to go to a PlantCon. Like you can see right here, they even have some Alocasias and a bunch of Syngoniums. So I ended up getting some Syngoniums at PlantCon. If you watch my video for the PlantCon 2024 Dallas Plant Haul, you definitely need to check that out because I actually go into detail about each and every plant that I have, where I bought it, what the care tips are. So I would love for you to take the time to watch it if you haven't already. And I ended up making a PlantCon 2024 playlist. So if you want to see the Houston one and all of my PlantCon videos that I will be premiering this week, definitely check that out. It's definitely bingeable content. So if you're doing like plant chores, or if you're just relaxing at home in the morning or even the evening, if you're trying to find a way to go to sleep, you can just listen to me talk. I would love it. So just turn on that playlist and you are good to go. But Plant Foldies, as you can see here, we do have several different types of Syngoniums. This one right here is a Syngonium Panda Galaxy. I ended up getting a Panda Galaxy again from a friend of mine. His name is Eddie, and I ended up getting it for $10. So, you know, it's all about those connections and finding the right people. So I was able to source that plant out. You can see right here, we do have some Philodendron Hederaceum Rio, and then we also have a bunch of succulents and cactus. So I haven't really delved into that. Succulents, cactus, euphorbia. I know that Plant Foldy Trish, she loves euphorbia, and so she was telling me all about it. And you can see over here, this plant vendor right here actually had quite a bit of plants. These the botanicals plant. You can see they had succulents, cactus, all sorts of different types of common and uncommon plants, but you can see that they were right next to these variegated. See, I don't really know a lot about succulents and cactus, so I'm just gonna pan over and show you all of these. What was really interesting is these succulents and cactus were definitely very much so uncommon, but plants that I would definitely add to my collection. It's just a matter of really getting familiarized with the plants. You know, a lot of these plants that we find attractive, you find more success though if you have a little bit more knowledge about the plants. You don't want to just add a plant just to add a plant into your collection. I would say do research, ask a friend, ask the seller what the plant care tips are, and then just assess whether you'll be able to actually grow the plant in your current home conditions. A lot of plants end up going into plant heaven, or we end up just killing the plant because we did not provide it the optimal space, whether it's, you know, the lighting conditions of your home, the space in your home, the other plants that you have available in your home, and more importantly, the time and effort into plant care. And it's no joke. You can see right here, anthurium botanicals, welcome to the jungle. Really liked this plant booth as well, because there was just so many varieties of plants and they were priced at a very good price as well. So if you're looking for like an alocasia or a xanthosoma Mickey Mouse, thank you, Daniel, for giving us the more scientific, more correct way of plant identification for that. And then we also had a bunch of like cactus and succulents. So I'm just gonna pan around here and show you all of these succulents. Let me know in the comments what you think. They are absolutely stunning in my opinion. And yeah, just let me know what you guys think. You can see right here that variegated gold crest cactus. I remember seeing that at another local plant nursery called North Haven Gardens. They have them available here. And then look at this variegated cactus right here for $60. Super beautiful. I love it. And that's another thing. I did not buy a single succulent or cactus in this this round. I mean, look at this right here. This is a walking Sansevieria samurai. What a cool looking plant. And you can see that it literally pushes out another one, and then it actually tries to propagate itself. That is such a cool plant. So that's the reason why it's called a walking Sansevieria or walking snake plant. Or it looks like a samurai too, Sansevieria samurai. Either way, it is walking, and you can see why it just shoots out. More aerial roots drop. It tries to propagate it and just continues to spread that way. Love that a lot. And then you can see right here, desert rose. I'm so happy I was able to find a desert rose at a big box store, a sport variegation that I do plan on propagating from. We'll see what that all looks like. But again, plant foldies, they had vendors that actually specialize in cactus and succulents, and I love that a lot. They actually had a lot of the cactus and succulents mixed in with Sansevieria or snake plants. Now again, with cactus and succulents, it's a no-brainer, but we all know that most of them will need a lot of bright light. Some will need full sun. Some can tolerate lower light conditions like Haworthias. I am still baffled at the fact that there is an actual succulent that can tolerate lower light conditions, but alas, plant foldies, there is one that exists, and I really like that. And then over here, plant foldies, we've got even more succulents and cactus, some more variegated forms. Like, look at how gorgeous this one is right here. I would love to get some comments from y'all, so please leave in the comments what you think of all of the succulents and cactus. Do you grow them? I know for my plant foldy viewer, Kathy out in Canada, hopefully you're loving all of this cactus and succulents footage. I know that there are a lot of plant foldies actually into succulents and cactus. And for those that are new to the channel, I don't really want to specify one particular plant genus. I want to be able to feature different ones. Now, this is a beautiful mutant mandula. So these are all of the plants that were actually in competition at PlantCon 2024. Anyone was able to enter, but you can see that they had all of these. And I love the fact that their competition plants had a little barrier and somebody was watching them. I know that Houston did not have it. And, you know, for me, if I'm going to have a prize plant, I wouldn't just want somebody to be able to like walk up to it, take it. So having that extra protection really brings me confidence to maybe put one of my plants in the in the competition at some point. But you can see right here, look at that beautiful variegation. They had a plethora of different types of anthuriums, Hoyas, alocaceas, monsteras. I mean, like, look at this massive anthurium, for instance. What a stunning looking plant. And it's another plant that I definitely would have added to my collection someday, you know, if I'm able to grow an anthurium that size. I am getting into anthuriums. I am getting into more semi-hydroponics. So you will definitely see more of that from my personal plant collection. Again, plant foldies, let me know which plant in the comment section you would have given first prize to. I'm not going to reveal the winner of the plant first prize, but you know, for me, it would be very challenging to actually pick a favorite plant because each plant had a different, unique look about it. Some of them had that sheer massive size. Some of them had some really good texture. And then I also wanted to feature Art Garden Flowers. This is such a unique Indonesian importer, and they have always been so kind to me. I've been able to just directly message them on Instagram alongside with GreenspacesID. But whenever you're buying plants from Indonesia, so these plants right here, this is that philodendron Florida Beauty cross with Mayoi for $500. You are still able to find plant pricing that is a little bit more cost effective. Yes, that was right off the bat $500, but when you think about that cross, that is more than $1,000 plus to get that size. And it's really cool because Indonesia, Thailand specifically, have a lot of these cool variegated new hybrids. You can see right here, this is for $450. This is in Aglaonema pictum variegated. I would totally buy this, but I just can't afford the price. Now with any plants that are imported from Indonesia or Thailand that are in sphagnum moss, what I would suggest is purchasing the plant, but actually letting it acclimate a little bit more. So take all of the sphagnum moss off of the plant gently, inspect the roots. I would also spray down the roots with like a diluted version of hydrogen peroxide water just to kind of disinfect it, and then put it in a jar of water with a little bit of Super Thrive, so that way the plant can rehydrate, the plant can just really acclimate to its space, because it has traveled several thousands of miles away, and that sheer traveling alone it really stresses the plant. But as you can see right here, this is another one I wanted to buy, that pink diamond that looks so amazing, and I absolutely love it. Now with a lot of the import plants, I will say the plants that import the best would be like anthuriums. Specifically, you can tell right off the bat if their roots are going to be healthy because they have very thick, juicy roots. Same thing with Aglaonema. So just, you know, a couple of just a little bit more just thoughts about these certain plants. You just have to really maintain and watch them. While there are some upsides and downsides to importing plants, just knowing the care tips and also understanding that while you are getting a cost-effective pricing for some of these Indonesian imports, you also have to know that there is a little bit of a risk when it comes to just the acclimation period. But aside from that, I love the fact that Indonesian vendors were there, because you can see that these plants were actually flown in. They all have a phytosanitary certificate, so you can see that they are pest free. But again, with all of these plants, whenever you buy a plant, even if you buy it at a big box store, you want to make sure that you are spraying them down completely with some type of neem oil spray or some type of pest control. But very good pricing for that. I know I ended up getting 3 philodendron from Art Flower Garden booth. I ended up getting a philodendron orange marmalade, for instance. That was such a good plant buy. Variegated Aglaonema simplex. So those are plants that you definitely wouldn't be able to just find in the United States. And so I just loved it. And the next time I end up finding this plant vendor, I'm hoping that they will also show at the Rare Aroid Plant Show in Houston next month. I'm thinking about buying some anthuriums and some more, Aglaonema if they have that available. Maybe even the Homolamena Pink Diamond. You can see right over here, they've got a beautiful anthurium Doriaki right here. But yes, if you haven't seen my PlantCon 2024 plant haul, definitely check it out. I will show you the process of how I take them out of their actual sphagnum moss, how I clean them, how I disinfect them, and then how I acclimate them. A lot of my imports that I'm getting from Indonesia, I am going to grow in hydroponics just to really get them acclimated. I think that that's the safest bet for me. I am going to try pond. They said pond really works, especially for alocasia. So I've been converting my alocasia. An update for my philodendron beliti I got, for instance, from GreenspacesID. It's just pushed out a new leaf, so I'm super excited about that. And then there's just other plants that started to show signs of new roots growing. So you want to take your time on some of these plants. You want to make sure that you are not shocking them. The acclimation period is really what takes it. What's the more challenging part about buying plants that are straight imported. Like you can see right here, Red Anderson, philodendron Red Anderson. Look at how beautiful that variegation is. That's my commentary as far as Indonesian plants. I definitely think that if you find them at a plant convention like this, it's definitely more cost effective versus having to import them and pay for the shipping. So that kind of bypasses the shipping, and you're able to find more unique and uncommon plants for a pretty good price as well. The only draw side again is just the acclimation period. You just want to make sure that you are giving these plants the acclimation that they need. And it takes a little bit of time. I would recommend not planting them in any type of substrate or soil for a minimum of 2 weeks. Really assess that. Maybe even give them a humidity dome, like put them in a tub with some humidity. That way they can really just get that acclimation period back. But as far as that, I spent a little bit of time just looking at all of the different types of plants that they had available here. By the end of PlantCon, they were pretty much sold out on a lot of their plants. And I could totally get it because these are pretty cost-effective plants. One plant that I missed out was the Monstera aureas. They only had them for $55. And you already know Monstera aurea is another plant of mine that's a wish list plant. It's been around for a while, but it's actually held on to its price. I don't know if it's just not a lot of people are in production for it. I kind of asked the same question about like Monstera albos. With Monstera Thai constellations, so heavily tissue cultured, but how about like the Monstera aurea and the Monstera albos? There's not really a lot of tissue culture, meaning, at least from what I've run into, meaning that they're still holding on to their pricing. But you can see right here, I asked for some different types of philodendron. So I'm just looking through all of that. And then you can see right over here, look at how beautiful that is. I ended up getting a philodendron strawberry shake. Now I meant to get a cutting from my friend Steven, but I couldn't wait. And then this one right here is GreenspacesID. So I kind of featured them on my first video, but GreenspacesID had a bunch of rare and uncommon Hoyas. So I'm just gonna show them because I'm not really a Hoya expert, but you can see the plant pricing, $56. They had some rare Hoya from Indonesia. I have ordered from GreenspacesID once. If you haven't seen my unboxing video, acclimation video, definitely check that out. What I love about GreenspacesID is you can send them a message directly in Instagram. You can ask questions, they will respond. They can even show you the plants that you're potentially getting. They can even give you a discount. I know that I have a promo code for my viewers if you're interested in importing plants from Indonesia. But yes, super excited. They were able to get me some of the plants I pre-ordered that I ended up getting 20% off. And then you can see right over here, we even have some more Hoyas, different types of Hoyas. This one's for $20. So I'm just going to pan around and show you that. I will say again, with GreenspacesID, they have quite a bit of plants still available to import. Now, I know a lot of these plants are more readily available in the United States now, but as far as Hoyas, if you are a Hoya head, you can still find some really unique Hoyas from GreenspacesID. Follow them on Instagram, follow them on their you can see their website actually, and they have many testimonials and reviews. What's interesting is that they did, sponsor quite a bit of like plant influencers, YouTubers. You've seen a lot of big names actually showing some unboxings. I am not a big name by any means. I'm literally just trying to get this content out for y'all, but you can take it from me. I've had a very good experience with GreenspacesIDs. Now, I can't say that about everybody because it's always, a gamble with importing plants. Sometimes you get plants that are not as healthy, and it's maybe not because of the grower. It's basically the transit. So I always want to keep people to hold their expectations, to manage their expectations when importing plants. But if you go to a plant convention like PlantCon 2024 in Dallas, this is definitely a better alternative just to buy the plants in person. You'll be able to select it, you'll be able to see it, and you can clearly see that these plants have just gotten flown in very much so before the event, so they haven't really been traveling quite as long, and so that the acclimation period isn't going to take nearly as long. But again, plant foldies with just the rare Hoyas, that was something that was a plus for me when I was featuring GreenspacesID. I mean, look at how cool this Hoya is, for instance. It's got that red undulata red, $25. They ended up giving me one of these Hoyas for my first haul, and I really like that a lot. I will buy from GreenspacesID again. They've been super kind to me, and I'm hoping that they'll be able to source out some more Aglaonema from Indonesia. Now, this is one Hoya I would want to have bought. This Waymanii cloudy. Look at how beautiful and splotchy the variegation is, but I also love the leaf shape of it. Hoyas for me are great because they're pretty much indestructible. Like, I literally didn't water one for an entire month and they didn't die. And I tend to be an underwater, somebody who doesn't water my plants nearly as much. So what I've been doing actually to combat that is actually putting all of my very thirsty plants in a section on one of my shelves. So I know to take all of those plants to the sink and water them a little bit more frequently. But Hoyas will not give you that problem. And I love the fact that there are so many starter Hoyas. Let me know in the comments if you are a Hoya head. And then you can see right here, they did have some Syngoniums, they had some philodendrons, they had some anthuriums, they had some Monstera adansonii. You can see right here, beautiful variegation as well. You can see that that one is not a bad price at all. You can see that they've actually sold through a lot of their plants already, and so you can tell that GreenspacesID is a popular vendor. You can see this is another Monstera adansonii. The leaves are a little bit larger. It's got a little bit more of a minty look. $62. I would love to be able to travel to Indonesia. That's another country I would like to see, as well as Thailand. You can see right over here, look at how cool that variegation is for that plant. And they've got a Syngonium strawberry ice. That's a pretty good looking strawberry ice as well. Got some pretty decent variegation, only $37. I ended up getting the prettiest one though from Rena's greenhouse, which I will feature on my PlantCon 2024 day 2 content. So definitely stay tuned for that. And you can see right here, they've got another philodendron red Anderson. They just got a lot of plants, and it's interesting because these plants are pretty much priced the same as the other Indonesian plant vendor. So maybe they all get the same source of plants. I'm not 100% sure. But what I do know is if you do want to save money on some of these more rare and uncommon plants, if you find GreenspacesID or any of these international plant vendors, definitely shop from them, definitely support them. These plants have gone a long way. And the last thing you need to see is if these plants don't get sold, it's really hard to ship them back. They end up just kind of declining in health. I mean, look at this variegated Micans right here for $77. I love micans. The particular variegated micans I do want to get is the Philippine pink one, because it holds the pink versus turning to a more of like a greenish Oreo look. But look at that variegated anthurium right over here. That's another thing I want to delve into once I can get my anthuriums in a good spot. I've noticed that my anthurium from GreenspacesID that's growing in Lekka has already pushed out, is about to push out a new leaf. So super excited about that. I do think that growing anthurium in semi-hydroponics is probably the best way to go. Let me know in the comments, plant foldies, how you grow your anthuriums. If you're a fan of anthuriums, if you want to see more anthuriums in the future, like look at how beautiful that leaf is. And it's interesting how they have them packed so tight and the plants are really not declining in that much health. So kudos to GreenspacesID and just anybody who's actually shown plants at PlantCon. I mean, I'm super excited that I was able to get even more plant content. I have a part 3 of day 1 coming up soon. So I mean, with my plant foldy community, again, if you haven't already, please make sure you are hitting the like button. I can't tell you enough that if you made it this far, thank you, but please hit the like button for this video. Also leave those comments. I love the engagement. And again, if we want to get some more exposure to the plant cons, you definitely want to share that to many people that are doing that one. It didn't do too well in its transit, so I'm pretty sure that they're not trying to sell that. But you can see they've even got Monstera albos here, white monster, I believe. So that's the thing, again, plant foldies. I filmed so much because the first PlantCon video I did in Houston ended up getting like 26,000 views. And I just wanted to make sure that for those that don't get to make it to a plant convention, I can at least take you and show you what kind of plants you can see, give you some commentary. And this is pretty much similar to the content that I put out daily. I go to a big box store and do big box or plant shopping videos daily, at least the minimum of an hour. So if you want a place to hang out, to meet cool people, to just listen to somebody talk about plants for more than an hour, this is definitely the plant YouTube channel you want to be at. I definitely will continue to make content. It's actually been very exciting to see the reception I got from a lot of the local plant lovers out in the PlantCon. There were so many people that came up to me and talked to me, and it was just really nice to meet people, meet the screen names in person, and really just talk about plant, have really good conversation around plants, and really show that there is a lot more to the plants than we all think. Plants bring us joy. Plants bring us, I would just say plants just bring us together. They definitely make people happy. I know that for me, seeing the plant foldy community and seeing them at PlantCon, and then seeing the engagement that I have for the PlantCon videos that I've released so far, I mean, it's just stunning. I mean, I'm picking up a lot of these rare and uncommon Hoyas from GreenspacesID, and for the one that loves Hoyas, I hope that this is bringing you some joy. I know that I want to get some more Hoyas. Honestly, I need to have like a full-blown greenhouse. I cannot make my actual home just a full jungle. And so that's what I've been working on in between editing these videos. It does take quite a bit of time to edit the videos. And you got to think, I do balance a very stressful and very demanding job. But the viewership that you give me helps me kind of just relax and really enjoy that. So plant foldies, I don't know what you guys think about this PlantCon video, but I'm glad that I was able to feature even more plant vendors. Definitely check out DNM Secret Garden. The Japanese pothos was really cool. Toltec Plants. As always, if you love this video, please hit the like button. And then if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel at GrowFolds with all the notification bell on. This is Richie. I will have another PlantCon video soon. Bye. Good day, my plant foldies. This is Richie at GrowFolds, and today we'll be doing a plant haul for day 1 at the PlantCon 2024 in Dallas, Texas. As always, please make sure you're hitting that like button, following me on Instagram at GrowFolds. I am so excited to share all of the plants that I was able to find at PlantCon 2024. Day 1, I was able to meet a lot of the local plant foldies. Super excited to talk about that today. And today's video will be divided in several parts. The first part is going to be GreenspacesID plant haul. So I'm going to show you the process of how I take the plants out, unbox them, and talk about some of the plants, the plant care tips. So hopefully everybody will stay tuned for the entire video. This is a long playing video where I discuss plants and all of the plants I received. So you can see right off the bat, I got a variegated chia pens. Syngonium right here, beautiful plant. And the thing about it is, with all of the plants that I got from Indonesia, there were 2 vendors. I got GreenspacesID, this is the first part, and then I have Art Garden Flowers that also had some plants. They had all of these plants in sphagnum moss, and the thing about it is, this is probably how you would get the plants if you were to actually import them from overseas. They typically have them in sphagnum moss. So what I like to do is obviously take them out of the sphagnum moss, inspect the roots, and what you want to look at plant foldies. And for those that are new to the channel, I call my viewers and subscribers plant foldies. Welcome to the channel. I like to take them out of the sphagnum moss, and what I like to do is really clean out the roots. I inspect the roots. I want to make sure that there's nothing too mushy or browning on the roots. That would be root rot. And then I take what I call my plant foldy mist, which is basically a DIY neem oil spray that I use to spray the leaves, the tops, the bottoms, the stems, in between the nodes, and definitely the roots. There is a mixture of hydrogen peroxide and rubbing alcohol, as well as a little bit of dish soap, water, and neem oil, and this actually helps disinfect the plant. Now, for plants that are overseas, they have to get a phyto sanitary certificate. So before they even leave the country of origin, they already have been disinfected, pest-free, but you never know in terms of what could happen during the travel. Any of the plants I actually added to my plant collection will not enter my plant collection without getting sprayed down. So you can see plant foldies, I am spraying it down. And what I like to do with the spray is I like to let the spray solution stay on the plant for about 4 minutes, just to make sure that it kills any eggs, any type of plant pest. And oh my gosh, plant foldies, look at how gorgeous this variegated Syngonium chia pens is. Now, what I like to do is, once I've already washed off all of the neem oil, especially on the roots and stems, I like to mix a water solution, which would be a silica solution called Protect, as well as a little bit of super thread. That B vitamin really helps replenish the stresses of traveling for any of the plants. It's a really good deal, and you'll see this process repeated multiple times during my plant haul. I like to actually put plants that have been in sphagnum for a good minimum 48 hours just to acclimate and really get hydrated. Now, with all of the plants from GreenspacesID, I am going to just let them sit there for more than a week, just to see if they need to actually grow some more secondary roots or repropagate. So we'll see about that. The next one up is going to be Aglaonema comotatum. So this is another variegated Aglaonema. And plant foldies, when it comes to importing plants from Indonesia, I do trust GreenspacesID. They were plantshop.us at the PlantCon 2024. So I just like the fact that this has been my second situation or a second import from them, and I got some really healthy looking plants. There was some plants, some Aglaonema, that did not make it in the best condition, but they were easily replaced by some other plants. One of the plants was a Syngonium chia pens that I got, and then I was offered a little bit replacement discount, so I was really happy about that. There is always a risk, plant foldies, if you were to actually import overseas. It's not always the seller's fault. It could be the transit of time, or even just the wear and tear of travel. Now, the good thing about it is GreenspacesID does have a U.S. broker, so they are able to send these plants as soon as it gets a phytosanitary certificate to the United States via air cargo. It's a lot faster, but the only thing about importing plants from Indonesia, typically it takes about 2 to 3 weeks to get a phytosanitary certificate. So that's the longest time. But once they get that, once the country is able to produce those documents where it deems that this is pest free to enter the country that it's going to, the process is pretty seamless. People will ask whether you have to have a import plant license. you typically do if you are importing where the actual seller doesn't have like a US broker that can receive it. I happen to have an import license. My very first import from Indonesia happened to be one back in December, and it was a long process, but the import license didn't take that long. It's actually free. You just go to the United States Department of Agriculture to get it. But to go back to the plants, you can see plant foldies that I have taken the sphagnum moss out. And with Aglaonema, what I love about Aglaonema is obviously the easy care, but their roots, you will be able to easily tell if their roots are healthy. This one was a pretty good set of roots right here. So I don't have any concerns about it acclimating into my actual environment. And I'm just really excited, plant foldies, because with all of the support that I have received from you guys and just all of the viewership I've received in the last 2 weeks, I am going to be able to replenish some of my plants. And you can see that the Aglaonemas are going to be back in business. And I'll tell you, once you see all of the videos I shot from PlantCon 2024 on the first day, I'm excited to show you a lot of these plants. I'm excited to show you those Aglaonemas and just all of the plant vendors. So that, stay tuned for that. I will have several videos. I would say I probably filmed a good 5 to 6 hours yesterday. We'll see what that looks like, and I'm going to be separating them in several parts. I really want to bring a lot of exposure to plant conventions. I think it's important that people can see what a plant convention looks like. In hindsight, I would say that PlantCon 2024 Dallas, the day one, was a success. And you can see right over here, plant foldies. It is all cleaned up. It's all shiny and healthy looking. Look at how gorgeous that variegation is. This is basically a variegated form of an Aglaonema, which makes it really interesting. And again, with Indonesia has some of the best Aglaonema hybrids in the entire world. There are a couple of Aglaonema on my wish list that I was able to fulfill at PlantCon today. So you're gonna have to see at the latter part of the video to see that. And then plant foldies, or those that have attended PlantCon, please leave in the comments what plants you ended up getting, what plants you like to get. Again, I love getting commentary. I love engagement in the comment section, and I also love receiving those likes. I cannot tell you, plant foldies, how much it helps the channel grow by just hitting that like button. So the next plant I'm going to go show you is this plant right over here. With Indonesian imports, they typically pack them like this. So you'll see that this is what it would look like if you were to receive them. This is an Anthurium papilionatum red cross of some sort. I can't really pronounce it, but what I'll tell you is this is the actual bonus or free plant that I received from my friend from GreenspacesID. I saw a lot of anthuriums actually out at PlantCon 2024. I do intend to go to PlantCon 2024 day 2, but I need to finish this actual voiceover and editing, so I won't make it in there until about noon to go look at some more anthuriums. Here's the thing about anthuriums. I have always had the impression that anthuriums were extremely difficult to grow just because they need to have higher humidity levels. What's really cool is the first anthurium that I received from GreenspacesID, it's doing amazing. I love that velvety texture. I love the veining. I love the leaf shape. I love that deep green. And so I have started to grow them in semi-hydroponics. It's actually growing in leca. So this particular anthurium, once it's acclimated and hydrated for about a week, I am going to go ahead and transfer this into leca, perhaps pond. We're going to see what that looks like. But you can see this particular anthurium is extremely healthy because if you see the roots, they are bright white. It looks like there was no damage to this anthurium. And I like to be slightly judgy, or I have been slightly judgy when it comes to anthuriums because I feel like they are such a finicky plant, but they have proven me wrong. I feel like of all the plants I've seen in terms of just imports or travel, at least in my luck, the roots, plant foldies, let me know in the comments what you think. The roots are amazing. And I know that there are some mixed reviews for GreenspacesID or any plants that some plant YouTubers have imported, but I'll tell you, maybe I have just gotten lucky, or maybe it's just pure luck, but all of my import experiences, this is my third time, have actually gone well. I mean, yes, they got shipped right to PlantCon, so you know, maybe the travel time was a little bit faster, but you know, that is something that I'm super thankful for. And again, plant foldies, what you want to do again is take the sphagnum moss out. You really want to try to get as much of the sphagnum moss off of the plant, and the reason being is, say you put that plant's root into a soil substrate, a semi-hydroponic substrate, or even a straight hydroponic substrate, you don't really want to keep that sphagnum moss, because sphagnum moss actually will hold moisture a little bit more so, and sometimes moisture on a plant, especially a plant that doesn't need it, may potentially rot the roots. Sphagnum moss mixed with like soil can also harbor some bacteria that can be harmful to the roots, and so that's the reason why I like to sterilize the roots using my neem oil. The neem oil will not harm the plant. The hydrogen peroxide will not harm the plant. And what I like to do is I like to really clean down the roots after I've let the solutions sit on the plant for a couple of minutes. And then I like to take the roots and put them into a water with a mixture of silica solution. So here's the thing about the silica solution. It actually helps prevent root rot. It makes the cells of the plant a little bit sturdier. So not only does the silica make it more sturdy as far as being drought tolerant, root rot anti-root rot, and it actually helps with a lot of the variegated plants. I've noticed that when I use it for my Monstera albo or a lot of my highly variegated plants, I see a less browning and crisping when I use that. And so I like to mix that into my water that I use to acclimate my import plants. So plant foldies, let me know in the comments if you have any questions about it. But as you can see, this is another review for some of the plants I received overseas from GreenspacesID Indonesia. Love them, and I would recommend them. They don't really sponsor me in that sense. I really want to just make sure that you guys get that honest review. You know, whenever I do plant shopping videos or plant content, it's very important for my viewers to see the positive sides about plant care, but also some of the not so positive sides of plant care, so I could take you alongside with me as a learning experience or a learning journey. But as you can see right here, beautiful anthurium polypilanum red petiole crossed with forgetii. I think I said that was a whole mouthful. And then this is a philodendron bellitiae crossed with the philodendron atopowensi or powensi. And I think I ended up getting this on my first haul, but you know what? 2 is better than 1. And I really like the look of this plant. You can see that it is packed in sphagnum moss. So we're going to see what it looks like. So when I actually take the paper out of the packaging, you can see that there is a little bit slight browning on the very, very last part of the leaf, but I love the brown undersides of the leaf. Look at how gorgeous this is, plant foldies. And I am really excited for you guys to see the PlantCon actual show. I will have so many hours of it. There were a couple of vendors that I spent a lot of time with, and I'm hoping that with day 2, I'll be able to feature some more of the vendors. The only thing is day 2 is probably going to be a little bit lighter in terms of the plant inventory, because when I say that PlantCon 2024 Dallas was a success, definitely wasn't in my opinion. There were so many plant lovers like yourself that were just running around and getting plants. I happen to have a little wagon, and my wagon ended up just getting a lot of plants. I was so thankful that Plant Foldy Luke was there to help me. He actually took a lot of the plants that I bought early back to my house, just that way I didn't have to like watch over so many plants. And you know, that was just a really good event. I would say if you are going to go to PlantCon in Houston next year, I would pay the extra $100 in pricing for the early access admission. So I was able to get in there from 8 to 10, and I was able to shop for plants before the general public. You are able to avoid the lines, the crowding, and especially if you don't do well with crowds and you really want to look for that one plant that you have, like a wish list plant, I would definitely do that. I think it's worth it. I think there's a lot of peace behind that, because when I say 10-15 hit, 10-30, it was really a lot. And, you know, I was really thankful to be able to meet a lot of the plant foldies. I'll go into detail about that throughout the video and talk about my experience meeting some subscribers that you actually just see on, like, say, a live premiere chat or in the comments, but then to be able to have some really good fellowship and talk to them, talk to the you know, talk about their thoughts, and just really hang out with, you know, just people that you would not have seen had you not started a YouTube channel. I mean, I was super thankful. But to go back to the plants, and, you know, for those that are still watching it, I'm hoping that you have made it this far into the video. You really got to stick around and see some of the really cool plant plant hauls that I got from all of these different vendors. As far as my budget, I actually stayed within budget, surprise, surprise, but I'm pretty sure that I'm gonna be tempted to go over budget because, you know, they always say YOLO, right? Like, you only live once. The fact that I saw so many plants, the fact that there was so much positive energy, plant foldies, it was just so amazing. And I did want to shout out Ava, the social media manager for PlantCon. Thank you so much for being so kind, for being able to get me some early access tickets, for actually taking the time to chat with me, to interact with me, to respond to all of my direct messages, and more importantly, sharing my plant video of PlantCon 2024 from Houston. I really appreciate that. I really feel like that has really gotten a lot of attention because of the shares on the PlantCon Instagram page. There were a couple of plant vendors that actually recognized my content, and so I was really thankful for that. And, you know, when it comes down to it, the plant community, there are some times where maybe there might be some negativity on it. I think that that's something that happens with any community. But if you ever want to feel that actual passion, that love, that excitement, that energy for plants, definitely make it to a plant con. Now, going back to this plant right here, I did notice that the roots, while there were some pretty good roots there, this is going to be a plant that I may need to keep in water to see if I can get some secondary roots. And the reason being is it doesn't have the best roots. It's workable, but that's the thing about imports plant foldies, is you want to be a little bit more selected before you actually put it in a soil substrate. Now, some people may just put these plants in a soil substrate or some type of substrate. I think that's a little bit risky, and you can see right here the roots are viable, so that it's not like the roots are not great, but I want to be with more caution about this particular plant. You can see that this plant, though, is healthy because there is a new growth point. In the growth point, it is not rotting. It's just going to take a little bit of time for this one to acclimate. So as far as like the pros and cons about importing, you know, I would say these days, a lot of these plants, especially the ones that you could only get overseas, you wouldn't be able to unless you actually import it. But now with the resurgence of like tissue culture, with more plant nurseries locally in the United States able to get these, that was really really good. But you can see right here, for instance, like I have been looking for a Monstera variegated Peru, and I am super excited. This has some really good variegation. It's probably not the highest variegation, and the only thing about Monstera variegated Peru, not sure if the actual variegation is how do I put it, is influenced by the actual genetics of the plant or the light. As a general thumb, when it comes to variegation, you want to just make sure that you provide light. Bright indirect light is basically the best happy medium for any plant. The plant is always going to be, especially if it's an indoor tropical plant, you're going to have to just look at giving it that light. But you can see right here, this is a pretty long one. Honestly, I could chop this up and have about 4 or 5 plants and, you know, propagate it in water, but I'm going to go ahead and not do that at this moment. We're going to see about just letting it acclimate into, you know, the water that I have. Now, as far as the water, I'm going to let them sit there within 24 hours. I may change it within 72 hours, or I may change it daily. We'll see. But you can see that the roots are a little bit dehydrated. That's expected, especially since they came from Indonesia. I mean, I went on vacation to the Philippines, and I'll tell you, just to get from North Dallas to the Philippines, I had to go on a flight for 7 17 hours to South Korea. Then I had to go have a layover in South Korea for 4 hours, and then it was another 3-hour flight. So you can just imagine, even with these plants, that is such a long journey. For me, I was dehydrated, I was tired, I needed to de-stress. So I can only imagine what that would look like for a plant that's been packed in a dark box, wrapped in sphagnum moss as some sort of hydration. But you can see plant foldies again. I am spraying these plants down thoroughly, and that's the reason why I do that, because I just want to make sure that we do not have any traces of pests. And you can see right here, look at how gorgeous the leaves are. And then plant foldies, let me know what you think about this particular plant. Let me know if you are considering doing an import from GreenspacesID. If you are and you're following me on Instagram, please leave me a direct message, a comment. I will connect with you if you have any questions. And I do have a promo code for GreenspacesID. If you buy plants, I think the first 5 plant foldies will get a free bonus plant. But if you use my actual promo code to get 20% off, it is GrowFolds20. So it's just one word, GrowFolds20. You will get 20% off your entire purchase, and you will potentially get a free bonus plant. You would just need to let the GreenspacesID staff know via Instagram that you are a plant foldie, a GrowFolds viewer, and I'm sure that they can give you a discount. But plant foldies, again, you can see that this is a variegated Monstera Peru. Really like the look of it. It's one of those plants though that you have to really just let acclimate. I know a lot of this first part of the video is going to be just the acclimation process of these Indonesian overseas plants. I think it's important though, because especially when you go to a plant convention, for instance, like PlantCon 2024, you're buying these plants that are wrapped in, paper. They have got sphagnum moss. And while I would assume that the majority of our plant lovers, especially if you're going to a plant con, would know some of the process of how to acclimate the plants, I still think it's important to show you guys what that would look like. I mean, and this is another plant that I have been wanting on my wish list. This is basically a philodendron variegated violin, or how do you pronounce it? Philodendron benephophyllum, I think, variegated. I love this because I have the green form, I have the Aurea neon green form, and now I have the variegated form. So super excited about that. Now with this particular plant, you notice that these plants right here, this plant right here has the juvenile leaves. As it continues to crawl up a moss pole, a stake, a plank, or something that would actually mimic its natural growth habit or its natural environment, the leaves will change into more mature leaves. So that's another thing about plants, especially philodendron. They are epiphytes, or plants that like to attach itself onto some type of structure. But you can see right here, it is a very healthy looking plant. Variegation is stunning. The only thing is the roots for this particular philodendron were a little bit more fine. It looks like this plant has been in sphagnum moss for quite a while, so I did not want to risk trying to rip off any sphagnum moss or off the roots. So I'm just going to try to wash it a little bit more so and see if I can actually get rid of some more of that sphagnum moss. But this one I know for a fact is not going to be put in any type of substrate except water until it actually produces some secondary roots or some more new roots. So maybe possibly it's not really repropagating it because it does have roots. It's just that the roots are either very dehydrated, or it just needs to just develop a little bit more. I wouldn't want to put this plant in a big planter because I would be afraid that the plant would actually root rot. But if you look at this plant, absolutely stunning. That's the thing I will say about PlantCon 2024. You already know about plant foldies if you watch my videos daily, that I talk about the beauty of just solid green foliage. But there is a certain level, I would say, about variegated plants that just hits it different for all of us. And I could even say for this particular plant, I mean, the variegation is amazing. I also wanted to just say that as far as this plant, I'm not worried about it. I feel like I'm going to give it some pretty good acclimation practices. Some people will actually give it a little bit more humidity, will actually put it in a tub. That way there's more humidity. I'm not as worried about that, just because I feel like the silica solution or that Protect solution, which you can actually buy on Amazon, will actually help the plant stabilize, as well as that super thrive. So I think that will be okay. okay? And then the final one is a Syngonium green splash, or what is also known as a Syngonium green freckles. I like Syngoniums. This one actually was part of the replacement plant because I originally ordered 2 more Aglaonema. There was an Aglaonema pictum tricolor that was available, as well as an Aglaonema red army. Unfortunately, those did not make it into the best condition, and Green Spaces was not comfortable giving me those plants. So I just figured that we can get some replacement. So the Syngonium chia pens, Variegated, this plant were a replacement for that as far as just the credit is concerned. Now I do intend to check out any more plants from GreenspacesID on the second day of PlantCon, so we'll see about that. But you know, the Aglaonema tricolor pictum is one that I really want to get. I may be searching for some more. I'm actually super excited to go back to PlantCon 2024. I literally was there, plant foldies, from 8 a.m. till 5:45, just wandering around, filming, and really trying to get that content for our viewers. But you can see right here, this had some really viable roots, super strong roots. And even though the roots looked a little darker, they were solid, they were not mushy. It just probably looked like this plant was growing in a soil substrate for quite a while. And you know, sometimes the roots, you just can't get them that clean, but I did do my very best. I am now filling it up with some of my Protex silica solution with Super Thrive. That really works out. But as far as this Syngonium, it is a little bit slower growing Syngonium. I am going to try and get some more Syngoniums on my plant haul video for the second day. We'll see. But this is already another Syngonium that I already currently have. But the thing about it is, it's such a slow grower, and full transparency, plant foldies, I wanted more instant gratification because after the PlantCon 2024, my plant setup is going to be together to the point where I could possibly give you a houseplant tour. So we're going to see the next haul. This is the Art Garden Flowers plant haul. So this was another Indonesian vendor that was out at PlantCon 2024 in Dallas. I'm super excited to show you this because I got a nice little discount for these plant pricing, but you can see that these are what the plants look like whenever they are brought into the United States. The thing about plants is you are not able to import plants if there is any type of soil. You have to have them in sphagnum moss because soil apparently may harbor pests, and so the USDA will not allow that at all. So you will always see sphagnum moss. And you can see right here, this is a philodendron strawberry shake, and it is actually a pretty good sized philodendron strawberry shake. So plant foldies, you already know I like to go do big box store plant shopping. And if you are in North Dallas or in Texas in general, you know that HEB grocery store has philodendron strawberry shakes for $55.22. The size is about the same size as this. So I went ahead and just bought this from the Indonesian vendor, and you can see that the roots are fairly stable. It doesn't have nearly as many roots, but if you look at the foliage, it's super healthy looking, and the variegation is pretty good. Now I think for philodendron strawberry shake, I'm not sure if it's actually influenced by the genetics of the plant or if lighting conditions would actually push out more variegation. But you know, I got a really good price for this, and I'm just really excited that I ended up getting a philodendron strawberry shake. So if you have been following my YouTube channel, you know that I'm really good friends with Janae Simone. So please definitely check out her YouTube channel. She and I actually hung out at PlantCon. And then also Steven from I Live Plants. He has a YouTube channel. He was a diehard plant foldie. He was one of my original viewers, and he has always been able to encourage me to continue to be myself, to continue to actually do more plant content. But we have created a trio of a trio called the Cultivation Corner, where we are going to be doing 30-minute plus plant podcasts that we will be actually uploading on all 3 of our videos. But anyways, to go back to it, Steven actually has a philodendron strawberry shake he bought at HEB, and we talked about whenever we buy plants that are uncommon, rare, that between me, Janae, and Steven, we would share plant cuttings. Here's the thing, I didn't really want to wait any longer for the philodendron strawberry shake just because this one was sitting there right in front of me. And I figured if I'm going to get a pretty good price already, I'm going to go ahead and, you know, indulge a little bit. And that's the thing, plant foldies, you do have to be really mindful of your budget. Whenever you go to a plant convention, I know that, you know, at a big box store, you'll always get that plant pricing. You will always know that if, say, you go plant shopping at a big box store, it's not going to be, you know, life or death in terms of the plant getting restocked. But if you are going to a plant convention, like even in my head as I do this voiceover, I'm thinking about some of the plants that I feel like I need to purchase because it's not going to be a plant I could find easily, even online. So just be mindful of that. Now, this one, for instance, is a philodendron marmalade. They were selling it for $45, but I ended up getting a little bit of a discount. Super excited about that. You can see that I got rid of the sphagnum moss, but why I've ended up buying this philodendron is because Art Garden Flowers, or Art Flowers Garden, ended up having larger specimens of the philodendron orange marmalade. Now, while it's not as brightly yellow neon colored, it still has that speckling and variegation. And if you notice that the plant is a little bit flattened, it's just because it's actually been wrapped very tightly. And that's the reason why it is still a little bit more on the flatter side, but I'm not worried about that. I sprayed it down very well to make sure that the plant is going to get just disinfected. So we're going to go ahead and do that, plant foldies. And you can see that this is a healthy looking plant. I'm actually going to go back on the second day to Garden Art, Garden Flower, what is it? Garden Flowers Art or something like that. Art Garden, or is it Art Garden Flowers or Art Flowers Garden? Art Flowers Garden. Yeah, there you go. I'm going to go check that out and just talk to the people there because they were super kind. And I just love having some amazing plant vendors. And, you know, I will tell you, if you are a plant vendor that that sold some plants at PlantCon 2024 in Dallas, thank you for your efforts. Thank you for having these plants available to all of us plant foldies. It was a pleasure talking to some of the plant vendors and just knowing that, and you know, some of these vendors had to travel via overseas. Some vendors had to really take big trucks of plants and drive across the country. It was just really amazing, and I'm hoping that I can feature some of the video, you know, some plants that I purchased. And then obviously the local DFW plant shops, the vendors there, I always love seeing them just because we always want to support local plant shops. You know, plant shopping in general is exciting. And I think for me, after meeting some local plant foldies in person and being able to hang out, some of my takebacks are you never really know what type of impact you have on people. And then number two, I feel like as somebody who has done YouTube content or social media content, just being humble and mindful, thankful and grateful just for all of the viewership that people give your content. I will tell you, I would not be in this state if I hadn't had such loyal like plant foldies, such loyal viewers, and to be able to meet some in person and just really get to know them, get to talk to them was amazing. I mean, I will say, for instance, Trish, she is phenomenal. Both me and Janae were talking about how she is such a loyal, kind individual. She was literally the first person at PlantCon 2024. So way to represent the plant foldies, Trish, for making it, and just, you know, the excitement, the support Trish has given my channel, and I know Janae's channel, and just her just walking around with us, chatting with us, that was amazing. I also wanted to say for like Daniel, for instance, Daniel, you are amazing as well. Daniel Alacacia, just getting to know him and then just getting to talk to him. He's going to be in some of the cameos. I also was able to meet Jamie Otis. That was cool too. I know she was in a lot of the workshops, so hopefully we'll be able to hang out on the second day. And then Rose, like I was able to meet you and your partner, and even though it was a very short meeting, I'm hoping that I'll be able to hang out with you on the PlantCon second day. But anyways, to go back to the plants, you can see right here we've got this beautiful variegated Aglaonema simplex. Now this is why I love Aglaonema. Notice how the Aglaonema are a little bit more durable when it comes to the importing, and you can see these roots are pretty thick, and you can see that there was already a new growth point right there. I'm gonna see what that looks like in terms of this plant and just how it acclimates. Hopefully it will continue to have a positive trajectory in terms of acclimating into my collection. But I actually ended up splurging a little bit on some of the more variegated aglaonema because they're just a little bit more challenging to find in the United States. And when it comes down to it, importing plants or plants from overseas, from like Indonesia or Thailand, you tend to get these aglaonema. And again, as I noticed when I was shopping at PlantCon, I just didn't really see a lot of clamor for aglaonema. So I don't know what it is about aglaonema. I hope that people would really not sleep on aglaonema. I think it's such an awesome plant. It's a plant that is highly underrated. When I say underrated, I don't really see a lot of like even plant influencers really talking heavily about aglaonema. But you already know plant foldies. If you call yourself a plant foldie, start out with an aglaonema. You know, those big box store aglaonemas you find, you can start out with an aglaonema Silver Bay or an aglaonema Red Siam. I think that those are plants that we need to start with. But to go back to this plant right here from Art Flowers Garden, you also would have to just make sure that these aglaonema just, you know, acclimate in this water. So I'm going to leave this for a little bit. I know that the other aglaonema I got from GreenspacesID, the aglaonema Big Papa, has actually been in water for quite a bit now. I haven't put it in a substrate. All of the other first part of my GreenspacesID imports are now in either leca or some type of substrate, and they're doing very well. Some of them are pushing out new growth, and I'm hoping to do an import update on all of these plants that I've gotten from GreenspacesID as well as this. But you can see right here, look at this variegated aglaonema simplex. I've never seen that. Then we have a philodendron strawberry shake right over here. Plant folies, let me know what you think about these plants. You can see we've got a philodendron orange marmalade. We've got more plants from overseas here. I'm just going to pan over, but I'm so excited that I was able to get a lot of the plants. And then you can see right over here, variegated syngonium chia pens. Look at that half moon. And even though I have a variegated chia pens, the leaves are not the size of this one. So these are all my plants from Indonesia, and I'm super excited. So it's a combination of two plant vendors. As you can see, it is a little bit time consuming about just making sure that you're getting rid of the sphagnum moss in the acclimation period. And so that is probably the only con I would say about importing plants, is you do have to put in a little bit more effort. It is not an instant potted up plant. It's not a plant that's already fully established. There's still a little bit of a risk of whether the plant is actually going to acclimate and grow. But at least for me, I actually like the process. So, you know, I talk about having these plant chores and how I struggle with just watering plants. Well, if the plant is just sitting in hydroponics or just straight water, then I'm doing okay with that. But plant foldies, let me know in the comments if you would buy from these Indonesian plant vendors. These are a live review of that, and this is my first part of the haul. And then now I will be doing a haul from Toltec Plants haul. I love Toltec Plants, and I'm going to tell you, Pearl, she is amazing. I love Pearl, and she was able to get me some amazing aglaonema. You can see right here, this is an aglaonema orange dust. Love this. And while at a big box store, Costa Farms can get you some of these trending tropicals, they have yet to get some of these beautiful orange aglaonema. That's another thing, like, I am obsessed with orange foliage plants. So you already know plant foldies. I have this new obsession about orange, but look at how beautiful that is. And the stems, oh my gosh, the stems are amazing. And I will say that Pearl and Toltec Plants really made my dreams come true, my plant dreams come true, and you will see very shortly why. That's the reason why I'm excited to get the plant haul. Like, some people were asking me to do the actual PlantCon video, but I just feel like I don't typically show you my personal plants. And you can see right here, this one was in sphagnum, and it looks like the roots are really good. So it's not like the roots are rotting. It's literally, it was in a soil type substrate probably, and then they just wrapped it around sphagnum to transfer it, because Pearl and her husband actually live in Florida. They used to have a house out in North McKinney, out in Flower Mound, so we are almost like neighbors. But what I didn't know is when they sold me this plant, they had two aglaonema. So I've got two aglaonema orange dust. I am definitely excited, and when I say that Toltec Plants has the best aglaonema around, They do. Now, here's the thing, plant foldies, and anybody that is watching my YouTube channel, if you want to get Aglaonema in the United States shipped to you, go to Toltec Plants. They are typically a wholesaler, but you can send a direct message to Pearl on Instagram. So you can just look them up on Instagram and you can request to see if you can order plants from them. But Aglaonema, oh my gosh, it is amazing. And you can see right here again, I'm gonna wash the roots really well because I do want to put this Aglaonema in water just to let it hydrate a little bit, let it replenish since it is not in a substrate that's already established. But you can see that the roots on Aglaonema are super strong, super thick. My care tips for Aglaonema, especially for colorful ones from Toltec Plants, is you want to make sure that you're providing them with quite a bit of bright indirect light. Aglaonema tend to be marketed as a plant that can tolerate low light conditions, and this is what I have been trying to plant fluence. That's my new term, plant fluence. Our viewers and subscribers is just because a plant is low light tolerant doesn't mean that you need to put a plant in low light conditions. If you can avoid giving them a low light condition, give them the bright indirect light. Now, if it can't be helped, what I would do with a plant that is low light tolerant is let it be in that spot, but then maybe once or twice a week, move it near a south facing window, an east facing window, so it's flooded with light. That way the plant actually can photosynthesize and really get the best health. But as you can see, plant foldies with this Aglaonema, especially the ones that are being imported from Thailand and Indonesia, you want to make sure that the plant receives a lot of light because you won't get the really nice orange variegation from it. So you already know plant foldies. This one is probably going to grow under a green light, but oh my gosh, I'm so excited to have gotten an Aglaonema orange dust. This is such an uncommon plant to find in the United States. Now, obviously with Toltec Plants, they have a family farm, I believe, and they're able to import plants and actually grow them in Florida. So all of these plants, like whether it's Aglaonema or all of the aeroids they have, I am excited to do a more detailed feature of Toltec Plants in a future PlantCon video. There are some vendors that I really want to push through because not only do they have some great plants, but the family, the business owner behind it really make it. And that's the thing. Not only do you have like amazing plants, but amazing people behind the plants is such a huge plus. I cannot thank Pearl enough. Kapunka, I think I said that correct in Thailand, but this is just, oh my gosh, plant foldies. Let me know what you think. And this is the one thing I wanted to show you, Aglaonema Lotus Delight. And plant foldies or anybody watching this, please Google Aglaonema Lotus Delight and check out how much the price would be if you were to buy it somewhere else. This is my third and final Aglaonema Lotus Delight that I want to try to grow in my plant collection. About 3 years ago, maybe 3 or 4 years ago, I actually got an Aglaonema Lotus Delight I bought from Etsy. Not Etsy, sorry. I bought from eBay. I ended up paying like $400 US for it, and they were able to get me such a good price for this Aglaonema Lotus Delight. Now, my good friend Janae Simone, who has that YouTube channel, she also got an Aglaonema Lotus Delight. And when I say that this is one of the most beautiful Aglaonema, it doesn't even look real. I'm so glad we were able to find it, as well as this Aglaonema Super White. I think it's Super White. I don't know if it is. I think it's Aglaonema White Legacy, honestly. White stems, but look at how beautiful that white actually extends. What I like about this Aglaonema is the white stem extends to where there's not like a contrast between the stem and the leaves. Beautiful plant. Now, these two plants right here are actually grown in like cocoa peat, so a very thick substrate. I don't want to do too much to the plant. I want to make sure that they are just kind of sitting there. I'm gonna put a little bit of systemic granules and water it with that protect silica solution, just to make sure that the plants have roots that are going to be viable and established and may not have root rot, because the thing that will kill Aglaonema is overwatering. So they tend to like to be underwatered, but just make sure you're not like me where I literally don't water them for like an entire month and a half, a month. But the overall Aglaonemas are nice. Now, some people will think that Aglaonema prefer high humidity. They don't. I think just regular humidity, ambient humidity is enough to get these plants. Now, as far as plant pests for Aglaonema, I think the only plant pest you could potentially get that would really hurt them is thrifts. So I've noticed that Aglaonema, once they get thrifts, you'll notice that the leaves start to turn yellow on the edges, and then possibly spider mites. I know that the Aglaonema Lotus Delight tends to be a little bit more finicky when it comes to plant pests, so you have to stay on top of that. But I also sprayed it with my plant foldy neem oil solution, so that should be protecting that. Now I wanted to go talk about another place that I got. This is a local Houston vendor called Hive Plants, and I'm super excited because look at this philodendron Jose Buono that I got for $12.50. So I was actually thankful that I was able to get to the Hive Plants because by the time 10:30 hit, they had such cost-effective plant pricing. I would say that Hive Plants actually have the most cost-effective plant pricing, or some of the most cost-effective plant pricing out at PlantCon 2024. They do have social media as well, so you can reach out to them, but they were super kind. I was able to talk to Travis for a little bit and really talk about, you know, the plants that they have offered. I'm super excited about that, and it's just really nice that they were able to have all of these plants like this Jose Buono readily available for it. I love the variegation. I know that it is still a little bit of a starter plant, but you know what? When it comes down to philodendron, for instance, I don't mind doing starter plants because I feel like starter plants are readily available for philodendron, and they actually establish pretty well. They're pretty fast growing plants, so it's not like I have to worry about it not actually becoming a beautiful plant. I am on the caution as well about just being a little bit more mindful about my plant budget. And there are certain plants that while I want some like instant gratification, I also want plants that I know will establish with just a little bit of love and care, and this is what it is. But Hive Plants, this is their socials. You can pause this and scan the QR code to get it, and they had some really cute packaging, and you can see this was what I was super excited about. Plant foldies, this is so cool. I was able to find a starter of a philodendron green nuclear Congo for $15, or green Congo nuclear. I mean, yes, like you can see that the variegation looks like a cosmic nuclear explosion, but look at how beautiful that is. And I did see some more larger nuclear Congos, or philodendron green Congo nuclear, and it is awesome. But I was able to get it for a good price. And again, plant foldies, it's all about the plant pricing for me. If you want to save money, you have to really be mindful about the plant pricing. You know, plant conventions are a really good place to actually make some networking, to do some networking, to make some connections with people, to be able to maybe even trade with people. There was just so many things positive about it, and I'm super excited about it as well. Now here is another one that I got for $7, a variegated epipremnum silver streak pothos. This is like the Aurea version, so I already have the silver version, but this was awesome, and it was only for $7, and I already know $7.50. So I already know that this plant is actually going to establish fairly well. I love the fact that it is another plant that is going to do very well for me. So I was really happy. These were actually my first 3 purchases were from Hive Plants, and I'm super excited that I was able to talk to Travis, one of the owners, and then also just being able to see what that looks like. They also gave me some free sticky traps, yellow sticky traps. That really works well. But you know, to be honest, I don't have to use sticky traps because I do not have a fungus gnat situation anymore. Part of it is because I'm an underwaterer, so the soil doesn't really stay dry. And another part is because I spray my plants with that plant foldy mist neem oil spray that I use, and I haven't had any outbreaks. I think when you also look at like maybe the soil you're using, it also helps that I don't use particular soils that may have like fungus gnats. But again, plant foldies, PlantCon 2024 Dallas plant haul. This is day 1. Who knows if I'll have another plant haul for day 2? Probably, yeah, most likely. And if you want to see more of this type of content, again, plant foldies, please hit that like button. If you are listening to me and have not hit this like button, please hit the like button. Now, the next plant haul I'm going to be showing you is Wild Roots Nursery, which is a very awesome nursery out in New Braunfels, Texas. I was able to meet, I believe his name was Brian, and his family. They were such an amazing family. Just being able to see these plants, you can see right here, this is an Epipremnum pinnatum, Cebu blue variegated pothos. I mean, that is amazing. And the thing about it is this pothos can actually get very ghostly. I love the fact that it's got that speckling, and it was for $32. The thing about it is I'm willing to spend the $32 for this because I know this plant, it is an Epipremnum pinnatum. So you already know that it's going to be a fast grower. And so I'm okay with that. And then also I have very close ties to any Epipremnum pinnatum because my family's from the Philippines. I say that in every video because I am a proud Filipino American. Epipremnum pinnatum is endemic to my home country, the Philippines. So that was really cool to find. And then I wanted to get these anthurium seedlings. So this is actually a cross that was created by Wild Roots. I believe Jake was the one that created this, and he actually helped me pick this out. Now, I think this was $25, but I got 2 plants. So this is going to be, I think, a variegated bird's nest anthurium of some sort. I don't know the cultivar they named it, but what I do know is they have some awesome anthurium crossbreeds as well. And then this is a Syngonium Stayer Markii, but this was such a large one, and I was okay paying $45. So plant foldies, this is my second Syngonium that I got from PlantCon. There is one more in this plant haul, but you can see how gorgeous this is. It doesn't even really look like a Syngonium. It almost looks like a philodendron, but they mark it as a Syngonium. Now, here's the thing about this plant. I've had this in the past. This one tends to be a little bit more finicky. It can get a little bit more spider mite prone, so you just have to really watch that. So I sprayed it down with some really good neem oil. This plant also needs a little bit more humidity to do well. It is a slower growing plant, at least in my care. Maybe it'll get it's a faster grower once it's established. This is extremely large, and that's the reason why I say Wild Roots, which is a local Texas plant nursery. I would recommend it. I definitely want to go to their nursery, and I hope that I would be given the opportunity to film their beautiful nursery. You know, I look at Wild Roots as well as Steve's Leaves as 2 primary nurseries that really have some amazing uncommon and rare plants that are available. They also had a huge selection. Very kind family. I love the fact that they were just able to answer a lot of questions. I was really excited to just go shopping. They were actually one of the first vendors that I really did some plant shopping. I filmed quite a bit, so you will definitely see what they have. And then on the second day, I'm probably going to go back and film even more Wild Roots because I want to, not that they need the exposure, but I really want more people to see their amazing plants because they are super rare. Now, this is just a Sansevieria bird's nest. So here's the thing, plant foldies. They had a promo where if you spent an X amount of plants, you would be able to get a mystery grab bag. And there is actually one grab bag that had a philodendron Spirit de Sancti. Unfortunately, I wasn't the lucky one to get it, but I love Sansevieria bird's nest. It's an easy care plant, and I did want to show you this variegated plumeria right here. Look at how stunning that is. This is again from Wild Roots. This one was, I believe, $50, but it is actually a good 2.5, 3 feet tall. The leaves are amazing, and the reason why I wanted to get a plumeria, especially a variegated one, is because it reminds me of my country, the Philippines. In the Philippines, plumerias can get 20 to 25 feet or even larger in size as far as a full-blown tree with very fragrant blooms. Now, what Brian explained to me is, and Jake as well at Wild Roots, is that this plumeria will actually go dormant in the winter. You do need to try to grow this outdoors. I will definitely put this outside in a patio where it does get quite a bit of light, and then just expect it to actually drop its leaves in the winter. It will need to be over winter, but it is an amazing plant find. Look at that variegation. And then plant foldies, I did want to show you another Syngonium Ormthong. So this Ormthong is from Hive Plants, and I got it for $30. Now, here's the thing about Ormthong. They had smaller varieties of Ormthong for like $20, but look at how full and large the leaves are. I have always wanted an ormthong. Now this syngonium was quite expensive about 2 years ago. It was like just for a little small size, it was like $100, and now to actually get one that size, I would say this plant has like leaves the width of about 3.5–4 inches, and this is just a really good, beautiful variegation. And what I loved about the Ivy Plants is actually based out locally in North Dallas. So I'm super excited about that. I was actually able to get some of that contact information and make some little bit networking. And that's the name of the game when it comes to just plant conventions. It's how many people you can really get to know and find where you can get your plant pricing. I did want to tell Veronica, who is actually the one that was selling these plants, thank you so much for connecting with me. I know that Veronica is on Palm Street as well, so I'd be able to buy plants for that. But she did mention that if there were plants I was able to or was interested in, that I could just come up and do pickups at her home. So I'm excited about that. You already know Plant Foldies. I'm all about the local plant businesses, small businesses. Even though I do have the majority of my content as big box store plant shopping, when it comes down to it, it's really wherever you can get the plants at a good price. And I hope you guys are enjoying my plant haul. Please leave in the comments if you have kept up with how many plants I received or bought on day one of PlantCon 2024. I am happy that PlantCon was not that far from where I'm based at. It's literally maybe a 20-minute drive south from where I'm staying. So I love that. The city of Allen, super thankful that they were able to host this PlantCon. And truthfully, for those that are making decisions on where they're going to do PlantCon, I hope that they will choose this location for Dallas and just keep it here because it makes it easy for me to travel. And the PlantCon cannot be a PlantCon without Steve's Leaves. And we already know Steve's Leaves comes with a huge punch when it comes to just the amount of indoor tropical plants they have and just plants in general. Like you can see right here. Now this one is a pseudoranthenum stainless steel, and guess what, this was only $5. So they had some really good cost-effective pricing. I am going to go back to Steve's Leaves and probably purchase more plants like that. But what I like about this plant is it is uncommon looking. It reminds me of like a croton plant, and with this particular plant, I just like that dark foliage leaf it has. It also has that steel metallic look about it. It's unique. It's not a plant that a lot of people talk about. And when I talk about Steve's Leaves, obviously they're going to have the rare aroids, the tropical plants, the things that we are most interested in. But they also have plants that are uncommon. Like I'm hoping that they would have like a Graptophyllum pictum, for instance, available for the second day, because I would totally buy it. But they had some plants here that I definitely would want to add to my collection, and I was glad I was able to pick this up. $5 is amazing for a 3-inch planter, and when I spray it down with some of my neem oil spray, it's going to look fabulous. I'm super excited about that. We're going to see what that looks like for sure. And then we've got another interesting trade Scanthia right here. I had to get this one because it is a darker foliage plant. It has some nice variegation. It has larger foliage leaves like a trade Scanthia nanuk, but it is a little bit different. This is a trade Scanthia Polyscia variegata. Really like the look of this plant as well. And again, Steve's Leaves, they've got it going on, and I love collecting their plants. Now, my friend who works for Steve's Leaves, his name is Jordan. He's a fellow Kababayan, another Filipino American. We got to chatting. Jordan, it was nice meeting you. I thought your name was Carl, but I forgot that that's not your real name on on social media. So I'm just excited that I was able to spend some time with you. I am hoping that I will be able to tour Steve's Leaves, perhaps film some of that, because I would really like to really just feature Steve's Leaves onto my YouTube channel. I think that since I'm literally just east of where Steve's Leaves are, it's literally a 15 to 18 minute drive to Louisville from where I'm based at. I have bought plants from Steve's Leaves for several years, and I just love it. I love their begonias, even though I am not such a good begonia caretaker, but just plants like this, like look at this one right here, that red plant is amazing as well. And for my plant foldy rose, it was so nice meeting you, but that one red plant is called an Irisine Rose, and it was also for $5. You can see that trade Scanthia right here. Felicia Variegata was beautiful. And then this rose right here, this red one. Now, this particular plant though, I am gonna have to monitor a little bit more so because it is a thirsty plant and it's a plant that needs a little bit more water. It's definitely a thirsty plant. So we wanna make sure that that plant gets those needs, which makes it more of all the plants, honestly, that I did a plant haul so far, that plant is probably the most challenging plant because it does require more water and more light. And those are the water part, it's really truly controllable by me. The light part, it's really unfortunate that I don't have all of that beautiful bright indirect light. I do have some wide east facing windows, but I put that on more of my premium plants. But plant foldies, what do you think so far of my plant haul? You know, Steve Leaves, I am definitely going to buy more plants for them. Again, support local. I know that I'm going to go probably buy some more plants from Peta's Planters. I did want to shout out Peta's Planters because they had some amazing plants as well. And I did want to show you, speaking of Peta's Planters, look at this variegated Alocasia odora. So I have always wanted a variegated Alocasia odora this size, but what was interesting is, thank you, Kevin, Plant Foldy Kevin. I keep missing you. Apparently, you shop at Peta's Planters. Dave says that you've bought plants and have been a long time viewer. Thank you so much, because Plant Foldies, when you talk about kindness, let's all shout out Kevin, because he left this gorgeous Alocasia variegated plant for me. It was a free plant, a gift from a plant foldie by the name of Kevin. Kevin, please send me a direct message on Instagram if you have Instagram. I would really love that. And then I also hope that you and I can meet up and talk about plants. Really appreciate it. But that really sums up what PlantCon was all about. It's all about that that camaraderie amongst plant lovers, and the fact that we are just able to celebrate the beauty of plants, where it's a variegated plant, a common, easy to grow plant. Because I mean, this was really what topped off my entire day. Obviously meeting the local plant foldies, but then just unexpecting the plant, you know, not expecting that somebody would leave a gift for me like this. This variegated Alocasia is awesome. I am so happy to have it. I may transfer it into hydroponics. But plant foldies, what do you guys think about my plant haul? How many plants did I get on my plant haul video? It is really exciting to see that, and then we'll see what that looks like over here. So super excited about that. And I love the plumeria, for instance, this variegated plumeria from Wild Roots. I definitely want to go visit New Braunfels for Wild Roots. Look at that trade Scanthia right here. And all of my Indonesian plants right here. PlantCon 2024 is amazing. And I will have some more plant hauls for y'all. I hope that I was able to give the plant vendors justice through this video. You can see that all of the plants I received today were all healthy, lush, full, priced very well. And again, if you do not have you know, haven't had a chance to go to a plant convention, definitely consider getting it. I mean, I would even go as to fly to another plant convention. My next goal is to go to Florida for PlantCon. I believe they're going to be there as well. I'm not 100% sure, so I'm going to have to just clarify that. But look at all of the plants I have. It's all on my table right now, so it is a jumbled mess. They are going to go into my plant room, but for now, my table faces the east, so I know that one, where, you know, in the morning they're going to actually have some really good light. The plants are now sprayed down, they're clean, they're hydrated, and they're ready to really acclimate into my space. So plant foldies, what do you think of all of the plants that I got from these plant vendors? I really want to know your comments. And if you haven't hit the like button and you made it this far, please hit the like button. I would really appreciate it. It helps grow the channel. It helps us push this content to more plant lovers like yourself. Hopefully I will get some more people who may not necessarily watch Big Boss or plant shopping videos interested, because I am trying to diversify my my plant content a little bit more, so try to pivot to even more diversity of just personal plants, more uncommon and rare plants. But you already know GrowFo's plant channel is actually a YouTube channel for anybody who loves plants, because I will feature different kinds. But you can see it is late this evening. I probably got done getting my plants ready at like 1 a.m. and I do intend to get to PlantCon by noon tomorrow. But again, please hit the like button for this videos. Please, please, please. That would just be an amazing thing for you to help me out. And then plant foldies, I hope to meet you at PlantCon Day 2 if you are. This is Richie at GrowFolds. Please subscribe with the notification bell on. I definitely will have so many plant content from PlantCon in this week. I'll see you soon.